you are on the rise. If only we shall hearken to his command. It is then that we shall rise, we shall pursue, we shall overtake, and we shall conquer all of our adversaries, and we shall shout at last, the Lone Star forever, the Lone Star forever. Oh, long may it flow o'er land and o'er sea. This journey, Lord, never uphold it forever. And shout for the Lone Star battle. Oh, hell, Liberia, him, mama. God bless Liberia, bless my mama. Mama, God bless my mama. Oh, hell, Liberia, him, mama. Oh, hell, my mama. Oh, hell, my mama. You say what's again become the light. You say what's again become the light of Africa. You say what's again become the light. You say what's again become the light of Africa. You say eat the fruit of your land, the fruit of your land, the fruit of your land. Hey, you say eat the fruit of this land, the fruit of this land, the wealth of this land. Ooh, and
We spearhead the groundbreaking ceremony today. Today for us is very historic. If you are to visit your calendar, today is the second month of the year, 02. Today is the 20th day of this month, 20.
Okay, folks, good evening and welcome to the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. I'm Alfonso Zienso here this evening. We want to welcome all our viewers and listeners across the globe. This is your informative news magazine. All Things Considered is airing here this evening. We're going to be dissecting all of the major events unfolded during the course of the week and other places in Liberia as well. As usual, All Things Considered highlight major news, making news headlines during the week from Thursday to Thursdays and some of the unresolved issues. I want to welcome all of my viewers and listeners. Thank you so much. We will be getting this program very shortly on the way here as well. I have a special guest here. We will be going to that, and as usual, right after my special guest, we're going to be having discussions, major groundbreaking ceremonies on the political side in Liberia. The President of the Republic of Liberia, Dr. George, we are in a major groundbreaking ceremony outside of Monrovia, Mount Vivi County. The Roberts International Airport is the gateway to the country economy as well. We'll be having all of that right here this evening. Stay tuned, and very shortly we will get this program on the way here. I'm Alfonso Zienso, so stay tuned and I will be right back. Good evening, folks. Good evening. Good evening. We want to welcome all of you. As usual, this is All Things Considered. We are here this evening to bring you news, information, and entertainment right here from the New England Bureau of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. Thank you for sharing your evening with us. Whatever you are, be part of this conversation here this evening. We will be having a conversation. All right, here we go. We want to welcome all our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you for sharing your evening and morning hour, depending on your location, wherever you are. And we want to welcome you. As usual, your participation will be welcome, but I will be having a special guest. She will be introducing herself. As you know, the President of the Republic of Liberia. On the political front, there was a major groundbreaking ceremonies of the major highway. That's the Roberts International Airport. Dr. Weah performed a groundbreaking ceremony in the 44 to 45 kilometer leading to the nation's capital of Monrovia. We're going to be having all of that, but as usual, we will be looking at some of the major news happening in Liberia. We're going to be having a take here from professional I have someone special this evening. Will be my guest here. Hopefully, 30 to 45, 30 minutes. We will be having a conversation here. And as usual, right after, we will be having our political discussions. Joining me this evening from Killeen, Texas, someone very, very special, but I always like to give the opportunity to introduce herself as usual. To welcome, that's her, what, second or first or second time appearing here. She's a young professor. So let me go to Killeen, Texas here this evening for her to introduce herself, and we will get right down to the business. Good evening.
Hi. Hello.
Yeah, I'm hearing you now.
Hi.
Go
My
ahead.
name is Joelle Joanetta Weller, and I'm a nursing instructor. I have my master's degree in nursing, and I also teach at Temple College.
All right, there you have it. Okay. Thank you so much, Joel. If you were to call you, by the way, Professor, you heard that. Okay, Ty, good evening. Thank you. We want to tap into your expertise here this evening with the limited information that we have. As a matter of fact, young Liberian, progressive, and involved in multitudes of role model as well. Okay, it would be for so long we talk politics, but for us here at LPR, we always to like to tap into the expertise of people that are meaningful in the community and get a sense. Well, recently here, I am a complete novice when it comes to anything has to do with medical related issue. But recently, one of our colleagues in Liberia, who was a journalist, it was alleged that he was raped. He was beaten by state security, and later we get to know that he was suffering from hypertension. We try to figure out here, we do not have the medical to report, but we just try to get the expertise of people in this field here. Uh, Tell us a little bit, what is this hypertension? What is the danger of it? What is that?
Like I told you, I would just be speaking on the medical side of it because I don't know his medical history as far as the hypertension. So I would just speak on the medical aspect of what hypertension is, the causes, and complication as well.
Okay. Okay.
Basically, high blood pressure is a common disease that in which what happens is you have the blood flow that travels through the vessel or artery, and what's happening when you have that push or exertion against the vessel or the artery, it exerts at a higher rate than normal. And basically, the blood flow is trying to get to the vital organs such as the heart, the lungs, or to the brain to circulate and have adequate blood perfusion that which is required for for those vital organs to be able to function properly.
Okay. So, what is the danger? And let me use myself as case study, even though I'm not suffering from it, but just for discussion purposes. If I'm having such a sort of a hypertension or blood pressure, as you would usually call it in the simplest context in Liberia, in fact, first of all, do they have different types of those kind of? There are different type of pressure, blood pressure, or something?
Well, high blood pressure, the medical name for it is hypertension.
Hypertension. Do they have different types?
There's what have they have the National Institute
Hmm.
of Health has different categories of hypertension. They have like the pre-stage because usually hypertension in the initial stage is like the silent symptoms. You won't necessarily get no symptoms till it becomes where you have it to the more complicated, where it's more complicated side of it. Like I said, hypertension is divided into complication. I mean, into classification. I'm sorry. You have what we call pre-hypertension, stage 1, stage 2, and it goes on from there. So in order, with high blood pressure, you have what we call a systolic number. If you're looking at your blood pressure, the very top number is referred to as the systolic number. And the bottom number is referred to as the diastolic number. So usually the National Institute recommends for a patient for treatment-wise you'll need the blood pressure needs to be 130, I'm sorry, 130 over 80 instead of 140 over 90, which was the recommended range for treatment.
So the two numbers, what is the main number to be careful with if I were doing like self-testing to know why it is? What is the main number to be careful to raise a line?
Both numbers, like I said, both numbers plays a very important role in hypertension. As I indicated, you have the top number, which is referred to as the systolic, and the bottom is referred to as the diastolic number. So both of those numbers is very important in the treatment or the way the blood is exerted onto the vessel and the arteries of the human body. But what also makes a difference too is what we do in the medical field. You have the number, as I stated, the systolic and the diastolic. They, for each patient has a unique blood pressure reading. And based on that also, you have to think of, or we have to take into consideration different other comorbidities that a patient is suffering from. So a patient may have hypertension or high blood pressure, but they could also be diagnosed or have history of other heart complication or heart disease. So all of that takes an effect in how the body or the blood is able to perfuse our adequate amount of blood perfusion.
So,
And I'm sorry, like I stated, the top and the bottom number will also, and what determines too, because I work in the ICU, critical care ICU. So what determines, you can have the top and the bottom number, they will use that also to get what we call a MAP, MAP, and that is referred to as the mean arterial pressure. And that will be indicative of how much perfusion that is allowed for the body to have. So the range of the MAP is 60 to 100. And that's, like I said, it's indicative of how much perfusion that with the blood that's being exerted throughout the body will give how much adequate perfusion that patient is having, which is viable for life purposes.
So, let me ask you, Professor. In this case, anyone that is suffering from hypertension, at what stage you are being medicated or to be taking medication? Does one have to be taking medication once you reach at that point, or what?
Usually, with the classification, the pre-hypertension, the systolic number, which is the top number, has to be between 120 and you have to do and I'm giving you these ranges of numbers. Every book or every resources may vary a little bit, but the number stays within a particular range. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So what we have according to the classification, pre-hypertension is referred to as anywhere, which is the top number, it has to be 120 to 130. And the bottom number, which is referred to as the diastolic, has to be 80 to 90. And it's millimercury per whatever when you get your number. And this stage one hypertension is where you have the systolic number is 140 to 159. And the diastolic is somewhere between 90 to 99. And then stage two is greater than 160 for the systolic. And the diastolic would be any greater than 100. When you have so much force or so much pressure being exerted on the blood, being exerted on those vessels and arteries, it makes it difficult to get adequate perfusion. And like I indicated, the National Institute of Health determines that or recommends that a patient or a client needs to get treatment if that number is 130 to 80 instead of 140 to 190.
Okay, we will get to the.
140 to 90. I'm sorry.
Okay, we will get to the main issue here. I'm trying to establish sort of a conversation here to give the audience a sense and things to be aware of. what should be my concern if I was a person that was suffering from hypertension, and at what time I should see myself going to the hospital?
That's why I said, it depends on a person's history.
Hmm.
Are they a smoker? So there's other different factors in people's personal history that also plays a factor into that.
Okay, so let me just let the cat out of the bag of one of our colleagues. Like I said, a very limited information that we have, but we just want to tap into your expertise because people that have sense of some of these things, are good to discuss it, to have a conversation, to give other people, to help other people to save, and things to be aware of. Recently, one of our friend, a colleague who is a journalist in Liberia, it was reported by him. He tweeted that he was attacked or beaten or flogged or whatever way by government forces. Um, we do not know the details, how it happens, how many persons were involved, all of that. And 3 weeks later, it was reported and he died. And so it's while it's around that, from the flocking or from the beating by security forces that led to his demise. Now the government is calling for the autopsies. In that case, if somebody with the limited information that we know, um, how can we determine that as to whether that was the situation is in connection with the beating or not? How do we determine to know that? We don't have these sort of medical facility in Liberia to perform, all of the tests to determine that. How difficult is
Well,
such a case? You as a professional.
usually, I'm sorry, usually the primary cause for hypertension is unknown, but there's certain factors, some of it can be hereditary or genetic, can also play a factor if you're eating too much sodium or salt is what it's referred to, or even sometimes having certain medical condition. If that person, like I stated earlier, if they had another, besides the hypertension, let's say for example, if they had diabetes or some other comorbidity disease can also play a factor into that. So it's difficult to really pinpoint without an actual autopsy. And like I said, I'm not going to talk about the political aspect of it because, I don't like to talk about politics. So that's not what I'm doing. But like I said, there's certain medication, certain things, certain medication that people take over the counter can cause signs and symptoms to develop. So, for example, and if I don't know if the person you're referring to, were they diagnosed with hypertension prior to, and were they compliant with the medication and the diet and exercise? So, all of those traits are important factors. If how well they were being compliant with a medical regimen and all of that.
Hmm. So, from what I'm hearing from you, Professor, it seems to me that it's a very difficult thing to really determine, especially when the person is already deceased. I don't know whether he was on medication, and if he's on medication, he was taking his medication as prescribed by doctor, or the
Exactly.
medication was given, and he did not take it, or what was his condition that morning. So, is it unfair just on a general level to sort of link whatever situation that have occurred, or to what extent infliction can be occur on the body to reach at that point? So let's assume maybe he was beaten. Where specifically we should be concerned with is if he was hit, just for discussion purposes.
I mean, anything is possible. And like I said, usually the signs and symptoms that we see with hypertension, usually there's none or what we call silent killer. And some of the rare signs and symptoms that you will see a person will exhibit when they're having hypertension, they'll start off with headache. Because like I said, that blood is very so much force. They'll start off with headache. Sometimes they can get bloody nose, anxiety, so maybe doing like I said, there's some things that can come into play to it. And also what we call dyspnea, which is basically signs and symptoms that you would see that have to do with difficulties breathing.
Wh-
And it
wh-
also can cause, it also, hypertension or high blood pressure also can cause target organ disease, which basically what's happening, you see, because with all that exertion or force being placed on a vessel and on the artery, it can damage the blood vessel, of course, and it also can, the blood vessel of the heart, the kidney, the brain, the eyes. So a lot of
my
times, when
goodness, that's too much of things involved.
a lot of times when patients have high blood pressure, like I said, they'll end up, some of them will have signs and symptoms that would mimic, or they can have stroke, or what we call cardiovascular MCA, or they can also have a TIA, which is transient stroke, or what we call mini stroke, because all that pressure is being exerted, is like overcompensating or putting too much work on the heart, on the kidneys, and on all those vessels. And literally, what happens is overdue because hypertension is a chronic disease process.
Wow.
So over time, it causes damage to all those vital organs, and it makes it now you are treating one um, system because of the work, the overwork or the workload that has placed on it. Now you're developing brain problems, eye problems, because like I said, it damages your eyes, vision, and cause blurry vision and all of that. So
Wow.
if they're being put on the head, something happens, like I said, anything can
Anything possible. Wow. This is
happen,
is
but because too also that if that patient or that client being are they compliant with their disease process, taking action and being proactive in the disease process and doing what the doctor recommends. And it's kind of difficult to do that. I don't know how much of medical facility they have or who do or what was provided for them.
so. Let me ask you this here. Does weather condition does it have anything to do with that? Somebody who is suffering from hypertension. The weather condition does it have anything to do? Liberia is very very hot. I can tell you. Does it have
That,
anything to?
not necessarily because when they start to diagnose hypertension, what they're looking at is first to gather information or medical history from the patient. Usually the patient will start to exhibit signs and symptoms that they will say, okay, I'm having a headache, a constant headache. I have problems with my vision. Um, and sometimes with all of that too, like I said, will lead to some heart issue. So because the blood is not being adequately perfused, so it can build up plaque. And that's what a lot of times it will end up having those mini stroke or major stroke because their blood pressure is too high. And some of the, I know I'm trying to use with the medical terminology, the angiotensin has an effect on the kidneys. So with all that exertion, problem. So again, for affect, we're looking at the patient, the kidney, also the heart, and and that is basically the diagnosis of hypertension. The medication, because like I stated, some medication can cause a patient to have hypertension, and also we're looking at those blood pressure readings, because when they first go or be diagnosed, you have to have two different blood blood pressure readings from two different dates, and that usually where they will be able to classify and then also be able to diagnose those patients with high blood pressure. And like I said, they'll have to do if they have the machine or apparatus at home, or if they get admitted to the hospital, we'll check the blood pressure measurements and be able to also determine that. And some of the tests, like I said, they may not be available to do that in Liberia. So some of the tests, the diagnostic tests that we're looking at for patients that have hypertension, we're looking at the ECG, the hematocrit, which basically is a different type of lab or blood work that we do,
Wow.
the potassium level, the calcium, and also like the cholesterol or triglyceride. Because remember, I told you that sometimes due to the plaque, it can cause black and it doesn't, or plaque buildup in those vessels and arteries. It does not allow adequate blood transfusion. So, and then where you would see that plaque will break loose or whatever, and they can have a stroke. And sometimes if they do have a stroke, it can lead some of the residual effect of stroke. They can get paralyzed on one side of the body, or and they can have issues with swallowing, because a lot of the times if they have a stroke, which is also a complication of that, what they would have also the ability to swallow, and you'll see they'll have like slur speech. So when they're speaking, it'll be like they'll have that slur speech, and also they'll have drooling, because again, they don't have that ability to control their secretions in their mouth. So those, like I said, a lot of things can come into it. And
Wow.
again, risk factors, we're looking at the patient's age, as well as the race and ethnicity, because a lot of time the African American or African, the Hispanics, those people usually will have a higher incidence of hypertension or high blood pressure. And also, if they're not exercising, you're just eating a bunch of junk food, literally, and you're not exercising, those are also can cause it, and also a sex of a patient. And then when you're looking at the hypertension, you're also looking at risk factor. And we have what we call non-modifiable changes, or as well as modifiable changes. And non-modifiable changes, those are things that you cannot change. And the modifiable changes, that things that you can change, things that you'll be able to control or have can change or make improvement on. So non-modifiable risk factor for hypertension, a patient, let's say if my mom had hypertension, any type of family history of hypertension. Again, when you're doing your assessment of your patient, you're going to look
Hmm. 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 Wow. Yeah.
constricting, is just collapsing, and it's just getting tighter. So the blood flow is not going through adequately. So smoking will cause that constriction of your blood vessels and those arteries as well. And stress management too. So maybe doing that, if they have a high stress, imagine that also they have the high blood pressure. So they have to be able to control the stress, because any type of stressor,
My goodness, there are a lot of things involved. My goodness.
yeah,
So,
any type of stressor, if they feel like that fight and flight
mm,
experience or any type of stressor, whether it even be loss of a job, there's different things. Even if they have the anxiety, or if they've been beat, whatever, that can also play a role in it. And also having adequate sleep also will help. Those are all modifiable risk factors, which are things that a patient can do to help lower their blood pressure readings
wow.
as well. And treatment wise, again, like I said, we just got to make sure that they are able to be able to take their medication as order on
Mm.
time, and not just stop taking the medication when they feel better or they
What?
feel like.
So let me come here a little bit. What is the danger if there was a prescription given? Because we have this tendency either being careless or self-diagnosing. you wake up and you just feel you normal, even though the doctor told you, hey, every morning at so time, or give you a timeline. But I wake up this morning, I just feel that I'm okay. So I'm not taking this pill here. I can take it later
And
on. What is the danger?
that's the misconception a lot of people have. What's also lack of education. You can't, because like I say, that hypertension is a chronic disease process. It's nothing that just go away, like that, unless if your doctor, it doesn't just go away. So a lot of people will tend to not comply with their medication or their medical resume.
Mm.
You don't, if you're feeling good, you still, before you take your blood pressure, I always tell patient, you need to check your blood pressure prior to taking your medicine. Because if your blood pressure, if that top number or bottom number is too low, and you're taking your blood pressure, for example, your blood pressure medication without checking it, because your blood pressure could be low. Because what the blood pressure does is usually three different category or classification of blood pressure medication that we'll order. One of it is the ACE inhibitors. We have also the beta blockers. Those will be things that, depending on, will also help. And then also sometimes the doctor may order, due to some medication, a lot of time they'll order some Lasix or potassium pills or water pills. So again, when you're taking those, like I said, if you get up, as you stated, you feel better or you don't feel like you need your medication, we always tell or educate patients, do not stop taking your medication without talking to your primary healthcare provider. Because again, hypertension or high blood pressure is a chronic disease process.
Hmm.
And
So
when you stop taking those medication, it can cause effect on those vital organs, such as the heart, the lungs, the kidneys, and eyes, and all of those other important vital system or organs.
yeah, okay. I know when you left Liberia that years ago, but we don't even want to go there here. But what should I be concerned with if I'm a patient of such? Because sometimes people just grab medication, other people's medication. Oh, I haven't had it. You get Tylenol, you get Liberia, will get chloroquine, paracetamol, all sort of drugs all out there, and you just grab it and take it without even know what you really taking into the system, even though you have a health issue, and you have been advised. But hey, like I said, we downplay stuff.
But
What is the
again, like I
danger?
stated, every patient or every client is unique. So based on, I don't know too much about a healthcare system back home, just the one here, because that's where, I work in and went to school and this and that. But you don't, we always teach patient, and a lot of times too, what's lacking is a lot, health teaching or health education plays a primary role, where we see, because a patient has not been adequately or efficiently provide or render health education. So what we see with them, with especially patients that have chronic disease process, they're like revolving door. They go in and coming right back into the hospital, because again, sometimes they're not being compliant. As you stated, they might be taking other people medication, and it's advisable you do not take another person, regardless if it's, especially if you have those chronic disease process, you do not take another person medication, because that would prescribe specifically for them, or that's what the healthcare provider prescribe for them. And also taking over-the-counter medication or other medication that don't necessarily, can also cause a adverse effect or reaction on a person's body. So it can cause
Wow.
them to go into either coma. It can and eventually lead to death. So depending how well you're taking care of your, or going by your medical regimen. So a lot of things that people, and I understand, people say, oh, you get Tylenol, let me take it, man, my head to me.
My hating. Yeah, I want 800 milligram. I can't,
Yeah.
700, I can't do anything to me.
No, but it does. But there's a limit too on Tylenol or any, especially with patient. Again, as I stated, I have those chronic disease processes. They can't just be taking any kind of medication, because it will overexert a certain organ, such as the kidneys, because you can't. There's a limit on how much Tylenol adults supposed to take. Maybe like it's 4,000 milligrams a day.
Mm.
So you're not supposed to go over that. And also kidney can also cause issues. I mean kidneys. The Tylenol can cause issue with the liver as well because that's where it's being excreted and exhausted. So a lot of, like I said, a lot of those things plays a factor into it. So medication wise, that again will the healthcare provider will usually provide, as I stated, what we call diuretics
Mm.
or the Lasix part of it, and it's basically water pill because again they have issue trying to get those. A lot of times they'll go into fluid overload where there's just so much fluid that they can't get rid of, and you will see signs and symptoms that you would see with patient, especially also that have either hypertension or cardiovascular disease. They will develop swell, like Birmingham can say, it will be swollen,
Mm.
the edema.
Mm.
So to give them diuretics to get rid of those extra fluids, so it makes it easier on the heart, so the heart can function and pump out the necessary, because that's where the pumping mechanism starts from the heart and it transfers to the lungs and all the other vital organ system. And we'll give them again, like I talk about the beta blocker, is which is those medications will end in the LOL, so Lopressor or
I,
Metropro.
I don't even know this. This is sort of scaring. Liberia, third world country, and we all know the medical situation there. It's a very hard thing to discuss. Now, on time we are hearing about. Tell me a little bit. Autopsy, is it? Does it bring 100% result? You in this few years when they do it, does it really tell you precisely the cause of death?
Yes, it does. Depending on if they have the skills to do to even perform those, because you have to have for a person to do an autopsy, not just, you can't just have any doctor perform it. They have to have a specialization or have to take a certain course or be certified basically in it. So again, it would the autopsy would pinpoint or narrow exactly what happened to that patient to cause their demise or cause their death.
So let me get it right because we need to have this sort of. Hopefully, I know you are very basic woman. Hopefully, we can at least once a month to spare our time here because we have to help the community to.
No uncle business deal.
Well, the person we should get back to our community. So talking
Yeah,
about
I know. I'm kidding you. I'm
yeah,
teasing.
that I know. You always give to a lot of charitable organizations and stuff and things like that. But so this is a very volatile and very difficult thing. So, like in the case now, where we are talking about with this hypertension, do they have to get someone special to do that, or anybody can
Like I
any
said, a
autopsy?
person that specify in or have their who has been certified or is capable of doing autopsy, you have to have the credentials to perform that. Just
Wow,
because I'm a healthcare provider or I have my master's or I'm a professor in a NP doesn't mean that I can do it because I don't have those specific things or certification in it. So,
wow.
but sometimes I hear in Liberia, you can get some of these people who come who CNA or nursing assistant. They'll go to Liberia and make it seem like they got their medical degree, and there's sometimes it's difficult for them to verify those, or they can bring falsified documents and stuff. But somewhat is a little bit difficult in the United States because with everything, you have to go to a credentialing body, like for the nurses they have the board of nursing, so everything, and different things, kind of like CPA or
Mm.
people that do accounting. You have to pass, just because you graduate from a nursing school, you still have to pass your state board before you can be given that
Certified.
credential or identify yourself as that credential. So
S-
doing an autopsy is not, like I said, you can have somebody who's like a podiatrist or a foot doctor going to perform an autopsy if they
Oh,
don't have the extra
wow.
training or specialty in that.
Well, so that's very serious. Wow. What we are hearing, the autopsy will be performed. We yet to know where the doctor is coming from, the certifications of that person's, their credential. Uh, that is imp- You went to a cathedral high school that is in
Yeah, well,
Liberia. I don't know how what 1970 something. So now, do you see yourself some days going to Liberia to provide some services to your people, like the teaching, trainings, and all of that? Do you see
I
yourself
have
doing that?
always wanted, especially, I mean, I usually would give back and, donation and do other things with other organizations, but it's been something that, and especially more um, with me or within my heart since my daughter passed away to provide or do something about, well, especially with pediatric patients, because I worked also in a pediatric ICU. I work in ICU and emergency care nursing here, and then I teach at the college. So that is my passion to do something for women and health. I mean, for women health and also pediatric or children's um, nursing within that specific population. I
So
want to do something there one day by God's grace.
one day,
But
okay.
sometimes it's difficult as coming from, where sometimes the Liberians or our brothers and sisters back home, they don't necessarily take to us Liberians that been abroad or in a diaspora. They would rather, I mean, I haven't had that personal experience, but most people that I even work with that have various organizations in Liberia or people that even want to go and volunteer, they make it so difficult that these people can't even render the time and services to our brothers and sisters back home. They will overlook the Liberians that have the credential here that can be proven. Then they will take another. There's nothing wrong with foreigners coming to work because, within the nursing field or the medical field, you have a vast variety of people that want in to help. But sometimes they make it difficult for these various organizations to come in and do something because again somebody always wants something out of the deal and they fail to realize that what those people are coming in to provide services for the much underprivileged population and to provide services for their people, for their brothers and sisters back home without wanting nothing. So sometimes when I hear these stories, and I always would verify or double check my resources or sources that are here out there, but it makes, like I said, they're not from experiences with other healthcare provider or people that I know that wanting to go back. They're not necessarily accepting of their own.
It's it's kind of like it's very sad and it's all about insecurity. They are so protective of their jobs. I have gone there and see them when you talk to people. By the time they hear you, I mean, going for ordinary visit, they just think like you're going to find a
Yeah, I know
job.
and
I
it's
don't
just that
understand.
crab mentality that not everybody that's coming back to help Liberia necessarily want jobs or want to take from them. Like for example, people that I have other nurses, people that I work with, not just here, but people that I work with in providing medical supplies back home. We just had a girl, Tona Gibson, that's trying to go back home, and she was trying to, and she's a nurse practitioner also. She's in I think she moved to New Jersey. I want to say New Jersey or Delaware, and she just asked me also to help with the same organization. And also, I have a good friend or a friend that also solicited or would try to get me to go. So upon Alex,
Hmm.
to help with those various healthcare organization. I even had a doctor, a friend of mine, she's a sister, Dr. Wanilla Petrie, that went to help with eyes or vision.
Hmm.
And like I said, they make it so like we're going there because we want something. Not everybody that goes to Liberia or try to help wants something out of the deal, and I don't blame them because sometimes some of them that you will see either again, I don't want to go too much into the political aspect of it, that they just they feel that that's all we want. But that's like I said, I have spent thousands and thousands of my own personal earned money to give to various organizations, not just me, well as other Liberians within the diaspora, people that don't even have it but are willing to help. But then again, there's that difficulty of trying to render those help because there's so many bureaucratic.
Oh
Can I
yeah.
say yes? No.
Yeah. All right. Well, so for the benefit of sort of education, then, and that's what you're doing here is giving back just from work, from teaching, and we grab you, we bring you here.
I
So
home
is it?
real.
Eh?
Yup. Mom moved that high crime
Yeah.
man. If
We.
I speak
Was.
my half crown. Mom
Yeah.
moved that you.
Okay. And I hope these people, government officials, because we have a lot of young people who came here and they didn't just mind the goodness out there. They are doing an extraordinary job here. So I know we don't want to take much of your time here to let you go. What should we be um, keeping eyes for those of us still here? Down the day is gone. What would be your professional advice? Just basically on what we talk about here, what people should be aware of, and say, oh, okay. Anyway,
Basic.
I mean, we got later on. I will go to the hospital. Even people who here, we also
Yeah.
have that problem.
We see that, especially again with the African American, they don't seek medical attention till is like they have developed severe complications, and then when they go to the hospital, they're either having to be rushed in a in a OR or operating room to get surgery because again, they will overlook those various signs and symptoms that they have or they're experiencing because again too, money factor is another one in Liberia. Even in a no matter what, not just Liberia, even in a developed country as the United States, is do they have the availability of the healthcare? Do they have access to the healthcare? And is it affordable? So again, those are things not just in Africa, but all over even the civilized world that we're all facing or having to deal with as healthcare providers for these patients and their family members. Because again, you have families who is trying to make ends meet over trying to buy medicine. A lot of these medications and stuff, especially if you have a chronic disease process,
Hmm.
they cost 1,000. Like 30 pills might be like 2,500 a month.
Hmm.
So if you have people that can't even afford it, how do they get that medical thing? But again, here, the one good part of it within the United States or in the more advanced countries, they have resources and available resources and things that can help with those. But yet again, they're still lacking with adequate or proper health care for those population. So again, health teaching, because a patient having knowledge deficit or not knowing how to adequately take care of their disease process makes it difficult for us to even render those care. Again, you have to think there's other co-exhibiting factors. Are they, again, as I said, are they able to afford the medicine, the medical field? I mean, the medical
Expensive or something.
expense. So all of that comes into play. But again, health teaching also with diet and exercise, learning to decrease your salt intake, all of those um,
Hmm.
just basically having a effective therapeutic regimen management of your disease process, being able to take care of yourself so you can die.
Yeah. Typical example say no gen in Africa. It's food right. Just take it, you just wipe it once time, and that's it.
And
Well,
a lot of the food that we eat, they're so yeah, they're to do, but you know, when we're eating, we gotta put a lot of salt in, you know, the seasoning and all of those stuff. So if you have like a hypertension, you have to really cut back on your salt intake and all of those, and be able also to exercise and take your medication as prescribed, and not just taking someone else's medication because that person got high blood pressure, so you want to take that medication because not all medication can work. The if I'm taking a medication for me, it may not specifically work for you. You have to think also if you're going to have a adverse reaction or side effects from the medication within its own self. A lot of those medication can cause side effects and lead to other various complications as well.
wow. Oh, they want here today that beast that stone in the heart. Are you kidding me? My goodness.
So
Okay,
the major
what?
thing is just knowledge deficit. Like I said, education that you can never overeducate a person. Again, patient education will include that we need to be telling them a lifelong having that they will be on a medication probably for the rest of their life. and they need to be able to control the blood pressure reading as well, and also being able to take their medication on time, and that's prescribed by the healthcare provider or HCP.
This is a very tough one, Professor, especially for my country, Liberia. Your country, Liberia, I've been there, see
Yeah,
it.
that's
I mean,
no
it's a.
sound up. Go G that. No, sir. No Liberia. I mean, say again, say, look at that crown woman there.
Yeah,
Well,
boy.
I more
Crown woman.
I identify more with my mom people, but Crown Sapo crew, they all the same.
Yeah, all the same people. Boy. And I hope, and this is some of the things that we are talking
All we
about.
all the same as Liberians anyway. We're all one, so there's no tribalistic or anything.
Yeah.
As far as me, I don't even see that. So,
Right, right.
but
Some of these things we were intent to have this sort of regular program just to send message back home to the government, the young people here, and that comes to this dual citizenship because
hey,
I know
coming
some
to
of.
politics, coming
No,
go.
no, no, they're not politics. The reason I'm saying that's part of the there are some factors that I know you have some Nigerians, Ghanaian friends, and they have this, so they go freely to help. But when you begin to label certain people too, that makes it very difficult. But let's leave it there. You are brought here for a specific reason. We come in transition. Okay, but before I let you go, what would be the final message to all of us in terms of what we can do to just basically basic things for us to make sure our own health is in good shape too? What would be your
Make
final
are you
message?
talking about make sure you get regular checkup, and if you have anything, do follow up. Like I said, a lot of times you see healthcare provider will do polypharmacy, which are people will be going from different healthcare provider to another. So you got to make sure that some of your medication that you're taking, even some of the vitamins, can cause an adverse reaction over the counter pills.
Oh,
If
so I
you
can get an vitamin?
no, I'm saying, but some of the depending on your medication, your healthcare provider order for
Yeah.
you or prescribe for you,
Yeah,
you
but
can't.
I mean, well, not to cut you off. Like I have feeling. I think I need B2. I think I need vitamin D. Those kind of stuff. What is the danger involved in that? We just kind of wake up
Again,
and.
that's what I'm saying. You need to tell your healthcare provider if you're taking any over-the-counter medication, because there's a lot of times too, like I said, those can cause adverse reaction or complication to a patient. Because even herbal medication, like
Oh,
herbs,
that one,
those
that big
things
one.
can cause various interaction with the prescribed medication that can also put a patient at a detrimental side of or adverse side, and leading them either into a chronic or even coma state
Mm.
or death. So you got to be very careful when and that's why I always tell my patient, if you're going to take any new medication or anything over the counter, you need to call your healthcare provider and let them know. And I know it's kind of difficult in Liberia because they don't have, like, again, they don't have access to. So a lot of times you would see what family or what I have heard or experienced, even people say, oh, you got prescribes a medication for me so I can and send the pills to me. You can't just do, people, you can't just do that. People will buy a bunch of medication, non-prescribed medication, and take it as have family member taking things, and then when they go and have those adverse reaction or interaction with those various medication and end up dying, the first thing, oh, they wish my uncle, oh, which I'm not saying is, but again, a lot of times, not necessarily all the juju thing that people believe in. It can happen, but you got to be very knowledgeable about your medications that you're taking. Don't mix medication, and also always want to provide adequate and efficient health teaching or health education to your patient in regards to their disease process and
All right.
what that patient, and the patient also has to be compliant or willing to be able to make those changes. There's certain, like I said, sometimes, especially with these chronic disease processes or diseases, there's things because of, again, genetics, hereditary history or this and that, things that, remember, I talk about the
Well,
modifiable things that you can change and the non-modifiable things.
yeah.
So again, those patient or client needs to be able to be proactive in their own health care, because again, it's going to be beneficial to them. And
All
if they're
right.
able to comply with their medication and overall health regimen is very important in either lessening or decreasing those signs and symptoms that will exhibit or be present in those various chronic diseases that's out there, such as the hypertension, the cardiovascular disease issue, even respiratory issues, not just all of those vital organs. So
Okay, what
your time.
Professor Joat, we want to thank you so much for giving us insight here. Hopefully, you'll be running some. You've been giving a lot to organization. It's time to give to this network because generally everybody will be benefited. Whatever little time you have, we need to have some of these things at least once a month. We know you're very busy.
You want to do a health talk with you?
Oh yeah, that would be a
Momu Woody, how you say it? Can you speak my Momu Woody? How you say Woody?
yeah. We'll give you my. I'm on
Momu Woody.
I say we
I
not
hear you
we not
speak.
get money to we ain't get money to pay you. God will pay you.
My crown,
All right. Thank you so much for.
my crown, you know. I did more naru, more
Okay.
taro, more no pepper,
Oh, oh,
Teresa,
okay. All is so and be happy Johnson and somebody say Ben somebody who wrote here said you can say I will open your clinic. I don't know who's that Ben somebody wrote
Ben
here.
Power, that's my
Ben
boy. Ben knows.
okay Ben said Professor Council will open clinic. I know.
Ben is another one that a couple of organization and a couple of things we had linked up with, and he's very good with the IT aspect of it, and he helped with a lot of various organizations. So me and him had worked together before, and he owns it used to be Radio LIB. We all used to sleep, eat pee on that show there. But that's my boy. That's Ben. Ben
Okay.
over.
Well, you see, I see how
Ben
small the community.
over.
How small the community. All right. Thank you so
All
much.
right.
All right. Okay,
Bye.
well, folks, yeah, thank you so much. That does it this afternoon time. But I'm going to be taking the politics side now. As you know, the President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency Dr. George Weah, carrying on a major groundbreaking ceremony, not dedication, a welcome, potentially, groundbreaking ceremony in Liberia today at the Roberts International Airport. We're going to be coming to that. We will be opening the phone lines here to get your reaction as well of today's event. I think this is something that is long overdue. I am Afonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. I will be right back after this quick commercial commitment. That's the Minister of Public Works, Honorable Mambutu Vlad Nyipan, today speaking. So let's listen a little bit.
This administration does not break grounds and abandon the project. We broke grounds for the Go Community Project. That project is completed. We broke grounds for the Local Town Broad Street Project. That project is completed. We broke grounds for the Archbishop Michael Francis Road Project. That project is completed. We broke grounds for phase 2 of the Somalia Drive project. That project is ongoing and 65% completed. We broke grounds for the Johnsonville Road project, the Pipeline Road project, the Danielville Road network, the Rehab Community Road network. Those projects are ongoing. And so we can say today, without any fear of contradiction, that by breaking grounds here, the people of Liberia can be assured that come July 26, 2023, we will come back here to dedicate this road. Mr. President, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this project has a duration of 3 years. This project has a duration of 3 years. It is expected to be completed and dedicated, like we indicated, on July 26, 2023. This project will be implemented in 3 lots, and it will be undertaken by a consortium of international road construction contractors under the banner of East International. Excellencies, when completed, the RIA road will be transformed into an ultra-modern 4-lane highway with all requisite lighting and road safety facilities and features. Ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Mr. President, the indicative cost for this road project is about $95 million United States dollars.
That was the groundbreaking ceremony today have the altar at the Roberts International Airport. Let's still listen, and I'll be right back.
$80 million US. Design and supervision cost of $7 million, and the management and resettlement action plan cost of about $7.5 million. Mr. President, Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we like to make it known that mobilization of financing for this project, was initiated by and concluded, I repeat, mobilization of financing for this project was initiated and concluded by His Excellency the President of our Republic, Dr. George Manneh. There has been no funding anywhere, any place that was either reserved by past governments or that is being kept in some escrow account. The financing for this road was initiated and concluded by His Excellency the President. The initial funding is being provided through negotiations by the ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development, and also from private sector capital. Mr. President, Excellencies, this program today accentuates and reaffirms President Weah's public declaration and commitment that infrastructural development, especially roads connectivity, is the foremost priority of his government. For us, from the Ministry of Public Works, Mr. President, we stand firm, unwavering, and committed to the implementation of your agenda for roads connectivity in Liberia. We'd like to assure you that we would never fail you. Mr. President, we cannot stop thanking you for making roads connectivity a priority of your government. Roads connectivity is perhaps the single most important determinant of the well-being and the quality of life of the people anywhere in the world. Roads open up more areas that stimulate economic development as well as social development. Yes, Mr. President, roads are vital to prosperity and peace. And roads play a crucial role in everyone's life by meeting the demand for the sustainable mobility of goods and services. Mr. President, as we conclude our remarks, we'd like to thank our international development partners. We'd like to thank our international development partners in this public manner. We'd like to thank friendly governments as well as lending institutions for their confidence in your government and for their support to the infrastructure development program of our country. Mr. President, we'd like to mention that today as we break grounds, there are works, construction works going out throughout the length and breadth of Liberia. The construction of the road from Banga, which leads to Salaye and will end in Medicoma, that construction is ongoing as we speak. God bless you and thank you, Your Excellency.
The Honorable Chief Dr. Jewel Howard Taylor, Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, the Honorable Members of the 54th Legislature, the Dean and members of the Cabinet, Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, and heads of international organizations, our special guest, our Honorary Consul Generals of Liberia to the world, here present, Mr. Superintendent, citizens of Mangipi County, officials of government, special invitees, members of the Fourth Estate, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I have the singular honor and duty to introduce and invite to the podium for a special statement His Excellency Dr. George Manawia,
Thank you. Well, before I address you, let me extend on behalf of Mr. Sumia, who attended another function in Monrovia, to ask you to extend my warmest greeting to all of you.
Madam Joy Howard Taylor, Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, members of the National Legislature here present, the Dean and members of the Cabinet, the Board and members of the Diplomatic Corps, all honorary council here present, the Superintendent of Mount Gibby and Masurado County, officials of government, representatives of our international partners, special guests, marketers, students, members of the food estate, my fellow citizens, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me inform Honorable Jones that I will check with the land authority to make sure that those that were squatting for so many years will have a place officially. This will not happen. I think we alone. Since you are members of the House, you will be heading this initiative for your people. But the person that asked me to tell you, he has some information that his father was a lawyer for only investment here, so we got some of the document with him. So you can check with him. He's the best person to tell you where you can find this document. Today, we stand on these grounds with heartfelt gratitude to God Almighty for His bountiful blessings which He has bestowed upon us as a nation and as a people. As a country, we have been through many critical challenges, but by the grace, we have always overcome. We have also experienced great moments as beneficiaries of His divine providence. With God's continual blessings, I am confident with abiding faith that this year and the years ahead will bring prosperity to our motherland. First of all, let me begin by calling on the psalmist who wrote Psalm 118 to help me express my emotions this afternoon. In verse 24, he writes that, "This is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it." I repeat, this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. In verse 21, he says, "I will praise thee, for thou hast heard me, and have become my salvation. This is the Lord doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes. O Lord, I beseech thee, send now prosperity. Amen." Fellow Liberians, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today is an historic day. It is a day like no other day in the history of our country. Because for the very first time since our founding more than 170 years ago, we are here to break grounds for the first modern 4-lane highway in Liberia. Yes. It is true that since we came to office, we have broken grounds, paved and completed many kilometers of new roads within various communities that are suffer from the terrible conditions of living with unpaved roads, such as dust in the dry season and mud in the rainy seasons. These modest efforts have brought about a massive improvement in the quality of life in these communities, and we will continue with this program until all major community roads are paved. My fellow Liberians, you will recall that in my State of the Nation address to the joint session of the legislature on January 28 this year, less than a month ago, I informed that August body of the challenging state of the road leading from Rabat International Airport to Monrovia. I then informed the legislature that my government was in a final stage of concluding financial and technical arrangement for the expansion and pavement of a 45-kilometer highway from the RIA to Iyadoe Junction, complete with appropriate safety and lighting facilities. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, barely 3 weeks since my SONA address, we have gathered here today before God and men to ceremoniously break ground for the expansion and reconstruction of the Rabat International Highway. This is a great moment for me and my government, and for the Liberian people as a whole. But I strongly believe that the improvement of the RIA Highway is a project of tremendous national significance. Firstly, you will agree with me that this road corridor, together with the new terminal at the airport, present the first impression of our country to those traveling to Liberia through the airport. Secondly, this is a project that is long overdue because of the safety hazards presented by its narrowness and darkness. The RIA Highway has been a death trap since it was built in the 1940s, during World War II. In 70 years of its existence, it has claimed the lives of thousands of unfortunate passengers, both Liberians and foreigners alike. Tell them it is the most convenient route for the movement of people, goods, and services to and from 6 of 15 counties, namely Mangibi, Bambasa, Riverside, Sino, Branco, and Maryland. Additionally, some of these counties are host to several multinational corporations such as Firestones and Golden Verulam. My fellow Liberians, let me take this occasion to remind you that the road connectivity is core pillar of my administration, and it is the fulcrum of the pro agenda for prosperity and development. Since my incumbency, we have broken ground for many infrastructural projects throughout Liberia, and some of these projects have already been completed and dedicated. A review of our records will show clearly that wherever we have broken ground for any project, that project is either completed or is ongoing according according to its schedule. By the grace of God, the LIA Highway project will be no exception. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that infrastructure development programs have the strong support of our international development partners. We appreciate this support and hereby show them of our commitment to utilizing resources put at our disposal for the intended purposes. Let me also use the opportunity to call on all citizens and those within our borders to take very good care of our road asset and all public infrastructure, because the sustainability of these assets depends on proper care and good maintenance. I'd also like to commend the Minister of Public Works and his hard-working team for making us proud over the first 2 years of our administration. Thank you, Mr. Mabubuga. Madam Vice President, please help me to thank him. We know that the circumstances are challenging and that the demands supersede available resources. But you have stood the test of time in Mabutu. We therefore encourage you to continue your hard work in the interest of the Liberian people. Mabutu Jiba, I want to thank you again. I told you before when I was going in your position at the ECOWAS Parliament, I told you the seat was not an easy seat because I was going in the seat of an honorable and intelligent person. And today in our government we are glad to have you. Today our people are happy because they can commute. Again, I salute you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the constitutions and laws of Liberia gave the president many official titles. And then, when he or she comes to office, the people give them their own title based on their personalities and actions. You all are familiar with many of my unofficial titles. For example, during my campaign, before you voted me to victory, you named me Country Giant. After I came to office, I began to deliver some of my promise projects. You named me Talk and Do. For my support for women's empowerment and the protection of girls and women, I was named Feminine in Chief. But now, there is a new one which I recently heard. and which I would like to share with you now, because I think that is very relevant to this occasion. They now call me Barrow Medicine. But now there is a new one which I recently heard and which I would like to share with you now, because I think that is a very relevant to this occasion. They now call me Barrow Medicine. I am proud of this new title, which depicts me as the antidote to barrows, and I will do my very best during the rest of my tenure to deserve it. Now therefore, today, in my role as Barrow Medicine, I wish to sound a clear call to action for the commencement of work for the expansion and reconstruction of the road corridor between RIA and the ELAA junction as a modern four-lane highway. Madam Vice President, in of the cabinet, members of the cabinet, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the diplomatic corps, we shall now move to the ceremony ground breaking, and I thank you.
Allez.
Don't cross the road, my man.
Nobody will stay there. My man, ballon Bouba.
Hey, gentlemen. Sorry. It will be right. We're going behind the iron. It will be right here.
No speaker here. No speaker. Now all your boss man. Now you will talk to.
No, my man.
Now audio.
We're taking one instruction. The instruction that we are taking. We're taking one instruction. We're taking.
Yeah, man.
You can bring your own instruction. What? So when you be man, I win. What's that?
Okay, you just listened to the president with that all-important special statement. Very shortly, he will do a symbolic groundbreaking right here. You listen to him cataloging some of their own achievements as it comes to rural connectivity across Liberia. And as a matter of fact, rural connections is the fourth pillar of the PAPD. So we are awaiting the president, the chief executive, to come and break grounds. This particular project, according to the information, is 95 million and will be constructed in the period of 3 years. So July 26, 2023 will be the official dedication of this all-important project. Lighting facilities and all other international features will be part, and standards as well. This all-important particular role will compose of. It has been a wonderful time, very remarkable. And the partners are here, other government officials. The security guys are also here, making sure that they provide necessary security protection for the VIPs, the dignitaries who are here. And the Minister of Public Works also outlined some ongoing road projects, Mabutu Vla Nyempa, in Western Liberia, in Southeastern Liberia, and Montserrat County as well. And he assured the people of Liberia of the government's commitment to paving roads across Liberia. Godfrey Nana Badu Kwanza and I'm Julius Compton. We are on this particular coverage. There you see some battle car, some guys trying to entertain the officials here. And he historicized that as a government official, you can bear several names, started as country giant, later on as talk and do, but for the convenience and strategic nature of this particular project, is being branded as Bar Road Medicine. And he has assured the people of Liberia that he will lift up to this particular name, Bad Road Medicine, and by paving all roads, community roads across the country. He will pave them respectively, honor his own leadership. So you're watching KMTV, Liberia's #1 online television station here in Unification Town, Mangibi County. So this particular stretch of road from ELWA to the Rabbits International Airport is a according to engineers, 45 kilometer stretch, and it will contain parking lot to bridge specifically from the John Bridge, and this particular road project will be in 3 phases. The first one from the RIA to the John Bridge, later on from the John Bridge heading to Benzo, and then back from there the construction of the bridge. So that particular bridge, John Bridge, will also be constructed as part of this all-important project. So immediately after here, the commencement of the project, there you see some of the machines, some of the heavy-duty trucks, yellow machines, and you can just go on near them. They will begin the commencement of this project right on the spot. So we like to appreciate all of you for following us. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for following this broadcast. Combined collaboration from Godfrey Nana Badu Kwanzaa, and I'm Julius Compton. So we also, in this particular manner, like to apologize to all of you. Liberia is a blessed country, 2 seasons, rainy and dry. We are in the dry season. So we are blessed with this blazing sun, which to a certain extent, from our coverage end, prevented us from going as usual, very straight in our broadcast. So we have 3 breaks in between as a result of the sun ray, and we sincerely apologize for that. And also we are somewhere in the rural area, so poor internet connectivity also prevented us from the 3 breaks in transmission. So we apologize for that. So Robert Wu, Year 15 says Barrow Medicine, and I know this is the rolling through now. The president also instructed Representative Ava Koklo Jones to lead that particular campaign to ensure that the squatters, the over 20,000 squatters in this unification town. This is discussion. Well, there you have it. That was the official groundbreaking ceremony today that was performed by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Liberia, Dr. George Manont Weah. Liberia, what a huge day. I think every Liberian should be happy, regardless of your political affiliation. The Roberts International Airport, or the road leading to the nation capital, that road should be seen as one of the gateways to the country's economy. It serves as very much essential because 99% of investors travels through the Roberts International Airport, and that alone, the airport now is in good shape. I've been saying the new one, but from all indication, what we are saying. And so the role is overdue. And by virtue of the president performing such a groundbreaking ceremony today, if you know the history of the Roberts International Airport, the lives that are bent on that road, that alone, and beyond that, that's the nation's biggest international airport. It's terrible. A country pretty close, 173 years old now, that's going to 73. And we have our airport, our major international airport route to look like that. And to see this president today performing a groundbreaking ceremony. That itself is history. That's something we must all commend. It's commendable. This is good for our country. That's how development comes into being. And so people should put aside politics. I think it's a very, very positive and welcoming news. We hope and pray that the president and the government, the CDC government, will keep focus. There's a timeline put on this here. We hope to reach out with the Minister of Public Works, Minister Mabutu Vla Nyimpan, to have some in-depth insight of what is on other road projects that are ongoing in the country as well. So this is very, very much important, and I think all of us, regardless about your political affiliation, whether you're from this, everybody will be a direct beneficiary of that initiative. And so our hearts go out to the government and people of Liberia. This is something we feel that the government has done long time past government. But the idea to see the ceremony to be the groundbreaking ceremony to be performed today, and that's huge, and that's something we must acknowledge as a Liberian. If you want to be a patriotic Liberian, that's something you want to do. I mean, it's just amazing, and it speaks volumes. And we hope that this process, government will keep track and keep eyes on the ball to make sure that this process gets underway. I'm hearing they're going to be putting the toll booths here. That's great. Yeah, that's how modern society it is. You go to Africa now, they get toll and all of that, and that will bring revenue. I told the government they're going to put all of the details in place, my guess, to make sure whatever they're going to be paid there, it goes to government revenue. Not someone who's going to be sitting down there to keep their power boiling. No, that's not all about it. These are some of the beauties that we see in foreign countries, in this country that we are in. And so those things too must be they must be on the display. They must be in our country for us to see ourselves as a civilized nation. And so we hope this should be a very good news for people to imagine that role, how it looks like. So is let me see here. I know this guy trying to get a message. To see how it looks like, and to see the groundbreaking to 90 million, yet 44 to 45 kilometer stretch, but that's a full link. You're going to be electrified from what we are hearing. This is why we want to call the Minister of Public Works here to give us a little bit insight. But overall, that's a very huge news, welcoming news. So we're going to be opening the lines here as usual. We allow people to participate, to express, to get your reactions on today's development in Liberia, the groundbreaking ceremony performed by the President of the Republic of Liberia. But remember earlier on we had Professor Joe here that was helping out on some of things that we need to know from her expertise as a medical person. That too here we want to thank God, and we hope to be having those sort of conversation here as time goes by here. Lot unfolded during the week. We're going to be picking on each of them, but the number is out there. If you want to participate to get your reactions of the news coming from inside Liberia, the groundbreaking ceremony of the President of the Republic of Liberia, Dr. George Weah of the Roberts International Airport. That sounds great. That's something we must all welcome, regardless of your political affiliation. All right, that's something we must welcome, and we hope because it's a gateway to the country's economy. And then road connectivity is very, very much essential. If you don't have road connections, how do even people make their farms? It is a serious problem when people say, how do you? It makes the nation to grow businesses, and it helps to stabilize the economy as well. People are going to be moving back and forward. Goods and services will be flowing. You go to Africa, you travel anytime, any hour of the night. That's okay. Go to Guinea, Ghana, all of those places. So if Liberia from Ganta there to Lokatoa border going to Africa, from there to Grand Maryland, Sino, and all of that, believe me or not, Yeah, there will be goods and services will be flowing. People are going to be going back to the soil. They're going to be making their farms. They're going to be bringing their produce to town. And even our neighboring countries, they will be coming across to also do businesses, and we will be going there. That will help to stabilize some of the hardship in the country. So we hope and hope the issue of road is very, very much important. It is a challenge for the government, and we hope the government they get that in place. And that's something we must agree on. There might be some issues that we have, but when it comes to a national cause, uh, it's okay. I have gone Liberia 2 or 3 times, and the history of that Roberts International Airport, the Roberts Field Highway, is a very, very, very serious concern. The number of lives being involved on a highway. To see that road now, they are about to stress a full link to be electrified. That's reflects a true nation, the country that of almost 173 years old now. And that will also help to bring investors. How do you feel? You see investors, they get down to Roberts Field and they go in there in that sort of darkness. Some of them would not even want to come back because risk involved. So for government to earmark to get to start stressing, to start building, to start reconditioning and stress that role, that's a huge initiative by the government of Liberia, and that's something we must all celebrate, regardless of our own political differences. What we've got a line open. There are some other news making headlines. I heard one of the bizarre press conference of recent time by the political leader of the Alternative National Congress, and then Henry Costa of the CPP responding as well, because some folks within the ANC also expressed their dissatisfaction. That's been disingenuous. Costa has come against the president aggressively on all forms and form and shape. But for them to, other people to have their own view or opinion relative to what Benani Ure is seeing, and for Costa to come back again, I see that as very, very troubling. And this is a challenge. Now, GOL has put in the timeline, they have put a timeline on the dedication of Israel as 2023 to July 26th. That's a very consequential time. Almost, you're talking about what? That's the election season, right? So it is strategically planned. And you have then here the fighting among themselves. They can't have a coherent message. They can't come together. So the challenge is up to them. For us, we are only interested to see someone who will take that country ahead. And just how we're going to hold the government to their feet, that's how we're going to talk. That's how we're going to hold the opposition. Because there are some terrible things coming out of them. Let me just play it. Some part of Benani Ure press conference with major news outlet in the country, and we're going to bring Henry Costa, who for the COP, his response is his tune to the ANC that happens to be part of the collaborating force. But seeing what is happening now is scary. Okay, the front on CDC, we are front on CDC, but to see what is unfolding within the opposition column itself is terrible, because then they scare us as well. So when these things happen, we will have to talk all as well. Just how when it happens within the government cycle, we talk about it, we will also talk about it. But let's listen to Benani Ure, some of the things that he was saying this during the course of the week. And I'm going to bring in Henry Costa's rebuttals or reactions to ANC folks that were reacting to Benani Ure press conference. Let's listen, and I'll be right back.
Welcome to this regular for Mr. Ure, who's chairman of the CPP and political leader of the ALP. This is a small gathering that we hope will be very interactive, give the chairman an opportunity to give the public an update on progress at the CPP and his own opinion on emerging national issues and pressing concerns. And I'll turn over to him when he will give us a few extemporaneous updates on what's occurring within the CPP, what the CPP outlook is, and so on and so forth, his own ALP, and his own opinions on important national questions. After which we hope, our selected media gurus here will interact with him and ask some of those questions. And so I want you to feel free and participate by all means. You can always send your question to your colleagues up front here who are doing the lead questioning. With that, you the press. Oh, okay. One small mistake. I was meant to introduce the occasion, and then Chairman Momo of the ALP will formally present his political leader.
So, even though he's done the slide, let me just repeat it. It's my pleasure, ladies and gentlemen of the media, to present to you the Honorable Bernard W. Ure, the chairperson of the collaborating political parties and the political leader of the All-Liberian Party. Mr. Ure, the press.
Thank you, Momo. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, I'd like to welcome you to my office today on the occasion of my annual press interaction, not only with me, but with my party and with the CPP. We'd like to welcome you here, and we will make this as interactive as possible, that all the many questions that you have had over the year will be able to participate in the discussions here, to make sure you leave here with an understanding of where we come from, where we are going as a party and as a people. Once again, we welcome you here. It's been approximately a year since I've called you all together to speak to you on issues that affect all of our lives. My people, in our position, we don't believe in going from radio station to radio station to newspaper, constantly speaking on issues as it relates to our political party and the alliances. We have, over the years and months, we have left that to the chairmanship and Secretary General to do that. But it's necessary that our people, the people in Liberia and in the diaspora, hear from us on serious issues and at critical times. And this is a critical time because we usually do this once a year. As all of you all are aware, we find ourselves in what we consider difficult times in our country. Things are extremely difficult for all of us. We know it because we wear the shoes. It's our desire to see our country move forward. We've been fighting for Liberia for many years, almost 50 years of our life. We've been fighting for this country. And nothing will stop us until we breathe the last breath in us. We want you to know that we are a determined people, and nothing will frighten us. We will speak irrespective of whatever threat there is. We owe it to our people, and we owe it to ourselves. But my people, the precarious situation we find ourselves in, we must be cognizant of one thing, and that is that we want to progress as countries all bordering our country are doing. People might think we are negative or we speak negatively to the government. No, we want to see our country moving on the line of progress. And we're going to remain loud on that. We're going to remain critical of the government, but we're going to engage them constructively. Now, saying that, I'll move forward. Approximately a year and a half ago, we got together as political parties. We saw the need to collaborate with one another in order that we may have strength and we may have the blessings of you all. We formulated ourselves into a body called the Collaborating Political Body. At that point in time, we decided that we'll put aside our individual political aspiration and we will work in the supreme interest of the Liberian people. We said we'll leave our political ambition and we'll seek electoral reforms. We'll seek development in our country, and we'll seek unity among us and the Liberian people. Over the years, we have kept that promise. You have not heard me talking about me wanting to be president or running for the presidency. You have not heard others say it. Generally, and that was because we said we laid that aside. And at the appropriate time, after our political parties would have gone to convention and elected us as standard bearer, we will all meet as standard bearer and decide who would head the collaboration. That decision remains supreme in my mind. I took it serious because we stood before all of you and the Liberian people, and we said we would lay our political ambition aside, and for 2 years we would fight for electoral reforms. We will fight for the Liberian people, and you all can attest we've been doing that. We have not made a lot of noise about it because there's no need for it. All of you are here, Liberians everywhere in Liberia, from Cape Palmas to Grand Cape Mount to Lofa, they all know us. They all know what we stand for. But we have been working to ensure that the will of the Liberian people prevail. My people, we have reached a critical stage in this process. We appointed a working committee to do the framework document for the collaboration. And they have been working assiduously. You know, I listen to people of the FOFA state saying that, oh, there's confusion in the CPP. You know, there's delay in the documentation and all of that. We must all be aware of one fact, my people, that in political gatherings, organizations, parties, or whatever nomenclature you want to give them, there's bound to have a lot of differences. We are coming from four distinct political parties with many actors. So it's not an easy task to get everybody synchronized on one frequency to move forward. You know, in politics, people disagree to agree. And we've had our share of it in the collaboration. People agreeing on issues and people disagreeing on issues. But what is of paramount importance in this process is at the end, we stay united and we fight and solve whatever differences we have. It has not been easy, But I'm pleased to announce to you today that the collaboration is still there, and I believe it's strong. And when we started this collaboration, we asked you to contribute to ensure that we stay together, that your rights will be protected. And I think you all have played your role in ensuring that we stick together. The collaboration framework document, hopefully, we have one issue, and I want to share that issue with you. There was a major contention in the document, and that was how the standard bearer will be elected. Okay. You know, all of you are cognizant of one thing. Standard bearers are elected at primary and convention according to the electoral laws and practices of Liberia. And I, Bernard Yuri, political leader of the All Liberian Party, will not accept anything less than going to a primary and a convention to elect our standard bearer. Because that is what is constitutional in our country. That is what is right. Well, we have had suggestions. You all have read it on the internet of a VPS, voter perspective survey. That survey, we don't have any objection to it. But what we are saying, it cannot be part of the election of the standard bearer for the CPPs. We have nothing. The voter perspective survey can be done at any time to serve as guidance to us in who we elect, to be our standard bearer. But, my people, as a patriotic Liberian, I will never give the rights that are given to my people to vote and elect a standard bearer and give it to a foreign firm to do a voter perspective survey to determine who will be our leader. I would never succumb to that. And I think most of my colleagues agree with me. We have made this mistake many times. We depend on the opinion of foreigners to decide our fate in our country. And it has been not too good for us. Why we must accept the views, or we might even decide to look at surveys from all walks of life. It must never take the right of the people from electing the leaders. So when you hear there was contention about the whole process, I want the world to know that was our contention. That we will not give the right to elect a standard bearer to a foreign group that will come conduct a survey. My people, we are suffering for many reasons, and we plan on this time to do it right. The people who the power is given to elect the political leaders must never be compromised. So basically, we have almost overcome that. But it's important that you and Liberians everywhere hear it from me, that the major contention, okay, we have gotten over all the hurdles, but that was the major one. How do we elect our standard bearer? But in speaking, I would like to inform you that after this press conference, the Framework Committee will be working, have a mandate by the end of this week to give us a completed document that we can all take it back to our parties signing will take place. But the news media that reported that it's complete, it is not completed. It's almost at completion. Now, in regards to my party, the All Liberian Party, the All Liberian Party is as strong as it has ever been, or even stronger. You know, we have done restructuring in Mount Serrato County. We continue it all over, and our party headquarters are functional. You know, our youth wing reorganized and it has been revamped. The women wing, they're ready. You know, our chairman is very active in recent days, and we are moving. We are moving, and you will hear from us. You will see us, you will feel us, and you will know that this force is a mighty one. Now go to issues in our country. My people, we all know that we are in a mess in Liberia. And, you know, and I want to be as fair as I can be. But I will be brutally fair in my deliberations here. You know, we just had a major gas shortage in our country. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that we had to reach that level. We're happy that it's gradually being improved, but that's not our concern. Our concern as a people is going forward. It's going forward. What is the president doing to ensure that it doesn't happen again? We want to, you know, we continue to speak to the president, give advices, give recommendations, but he doesn't listen. But it's our responsibility to continue to do it. You see, if the president goes ahead and appoint the same people that caused this problem to help alleviate the problem, or to set up the proper framework to ensure that the problem does not reoccur, then we are doomed as a people. We want to use this opportunity going forward to warn the president that Liberia is for every Liberian. It's not for here alone. And Liberia comprises of all Liberians. Seditians, people from Unity Party, people from ALP Party, people from the ANC, people from Unity Party, all the parties. And we have a say in this government. We do not have a lack of personnel to help this president. They are here. He has to open up. If we're going to move forward and be like our neighbors, see development, he has to open up. This country is not only for sedition. And meaning no harm to sedition. All of you all know that I was once a part of them. And I can never consider them my enemy. But I want the best for Liberia. And where they lack is skills and knowledge, they must go outside and find it to make sure that this situation does not repeat itself. And that is the case on many other issues. The president has to open up if he will succeed. And we continue to sound out these warnings, he continued not to listen. Once you speak about it, then they start the attack. But you all know me, I'm not afraid of any attacks. You know, I'm not afraid of any attack, and I'm not afraid to speak the truth. And you see, going to a radio station and abusing the president, abusing that person, you know, it doesn't help. It doesn't help. And we have not gotten involved in that. Because like we respect the president, he also respects us. You know, there have been quite a few slips, you know, but it's all part of the political process. We must mature. And we must, even if we're hurt and disappointed on some things, when you think about the bigger picture, Liberia, you know, you let it go. Not because you don't want to talk. You talk. Like when there's issue, I call him and I tell him what I feel. But we must remember, my people, yes, this government has failed in some instances. But we must all remember from whence we come, how we got here. We cannot totally blame this government for everything. A lot of it, this government inherited. And the mistake this government made was not to audit, do a comprehensive audit of where it started from. But right now, once you don't do that, everything is blamed on you. And that is what they're experiencing. Notwithstanding, they've made a lot of mistakes. But what we're saying here, equally so, a lot of it came from the Ellen government. But my people, that's irrelevant. I'm not here to criticize the government, nor am I here to criticize Ellen. Okay? I'm here for us to talk about moving our country forward. Well, as a planner, which I am, that's where I got my education in. What we do is a general analysis of the past, a mapping of the present, and we predict the future. We can talk about things. I'm sure you have a lot of questions about me, personally, about the CPP, about the ALPs, about Liberia that you want to ask me. And we'll be open to your questions. We have about 1 hour. We endeavor to answer every question you have here today. But we want to remind you that let's leave the negatives. Because, look, we've been on the negativity for all our lives, and we've gotten nowhere. It's time for us to move ahead. You know, it's unfortunate that our president, he might not see how we see it, but we must keep on setting the record straight. We must keep on putting that pressure on him. Because this glorious land of liberty is all we have. And we must fight for it. You, people of the fourth estate, you must fight for it. And when you see wrong, say it's wrong. You see right, say it's right. Give a pat on the back for the right. So again, the intent of this press conference is not for me to speak, but for me to speak with you, answer all your questions, that we may go back, you know, and you all can do good stories. Maybe you will talk some positive things about Liberia, but don't hesitate to speak the negative too. In this natural unique of consciousness known as life, you know, we all must get on the stage and perform. And after performance, we step down. Some of us die. Some of us, you know, we go in retirement. But Liberia continues. So again, I will turn it over to Demore the facilitator here, and let's begin our interaction. Oh, but before we do that, Happy New Year. And I wish you all the best this year. And let's pray for Liberia.
Okay, so I think naturally we'll just turn over to the editors here. And gentlemen, in whatever fashion you choose, you can start to bombard the questions.
So I will pick up from here. My name is Otelo Gabla from the New Dawn newspaper. And basically we'll start right from the full step of the CPP. Historically in Liberia, many political parties come together and there's too much of noise about their collaborations and the excitements are there. But just on the eve of elections, they sometimes come into going disarray and then the whole collaboration is null and void and then people go independent. You just made some revelations that there have been issues that the CPP has been struggling with, and hopefully you are going to get rid of it. Can we be assured that after these issues are resolved and that a CPP is created, can we then say we have a formidable opposition political party in Liberia? Because as I speak, internationally, we are told we don't even have an opposition party, political parties in Liberia.
You know, Gabba, let me just be honest. Historically, you are right. But let's look at what caused this. My people, whether we want to accept it or not, we are a poor people. Most of us in Liberia, we don't have money. And people, Liberians, use the money to create disharmony in Liberia. You see, when you have people who have not really had $5,000 cash in 10, 15 years, and you come and offer them $20,000, it's difficult for them to resist it. You know, and this is the advantage people that with money to take of Liberia. Okay. And it was known in the last government. We had coalitions being formed, and money was spent. And people still will do it. But I tell you, Kamala, experientially, we're feeling it in Liberia. Liberians are feeling it. But we want to use this opportunity to appeal to them that this time if they bring the money, eat it and just don't do it. Because it's your own money they're using to bribe and create disharmony among ourselves. Now, the collaboration, yes, everything is possible. You know, at the end of the day.
There you have it. That's one of the bizarre press conference ever heard in recent time. I'm Alfonso Zayas of the Liberia Public Radio and LIBERIA TV. Here it is. Right here. Evening to this network. Okay, we will take a discussion about that, but let me just bring in this news here as well. Okay, right after the press conference, this is what we got on the social network. Let's listen to this.
So, I just wanted to do a quick chat before I about Mr. Uri's press conference today, the chairman of the CPP. You know, just because Ben and Uri and I are very close and he's my political leader and the father figure in my life does not mean I agree with everything he says or how he says it. And I don't have to agree with everything he says. And he and I disagree all the time. But there's a great deal of mutual respect existent between the two of us. And that is how our relationship was forged. Oh, yeah, of course, you know, how he can be at times. He's very He drives his opinions in a rather tough way, and sometimes we have disagreements, but it's healthy. So Mr. Uri spoke to the press today, and I didn't get to watch the entire thing because I was sleeping. So I watched a portion of it while I was up, and I'm yet to watch the entire thing. But the particular segment of his extemporaneous chit-chat with the press that has caused some CPP members, particularly from the ANC, to start attacking him is something that concerns me. And it should concern all well-meaning CPP members. And here is it. Mr. Uri was asked a question about the status of the framework or the CPP. And Mr. Uri said there had been a sticker issue. And the sticker issue was that one of the parties, the ANC, was calling for a VPS, a voter perception survey, to be used as a determinant in the process leading to the nomination of or the selection of the standard bearer. And what Mr. Uri said was that the VPS is undemocratic. The VPS is not consistent with our election laws in Liberia, which mandates all political parties to use the process of primaries or the process of primary to elect the candidates and to elect the standard bearers. That's what he said. That's all he said. And since Mr. Uri made those comments, I've seen ANC people, prominent ANC supporters on Facebook attacking Mr. Uri in very derogatory ways. And what they need to understand, oftentimes people, a lot of ANC supporters who happen to be supporters of mine, whom I equally appreciate as I do all other supporters of mine, what they need to understand is that, and I always tell them, I don't hate your party, but when the way your party people behave, Henry, can you lower your voice a little bit, please? The way your party, the way your people behave, that other people don't have the right to voice a contrarian opinion. If ANC wants A and ALP wants B, and if ALP expresses why they want B and not A, should that be a problem? Is this how we're going to be? Now you cannot express your discerning view or your different view from the view that they hold. They want a VPS. It is their right. But VPS is not consistent with our laws. So Mr. Uri said that today. I see Tar one way posting on Facebook, Uri, behave. I see Muna Fahad posting, calling Mr. Uri a non-entity and he's basically insulting him. You see, and what they don't understand is that they don't have the biggest mouth. I have the biggest mouth in the country, period. If you attack my party and my political leader over something as stupid as that because he expresses a view that is not agreeable to your position, then you are provoking me. I have the right to respond to defend my party and my political leader. As I said, I don't agree with everything Benani Uri says, and I don't have to agree with him. First of all, let me voice one of my disagreements. I don't think Mr. Uri should have said George Weah won the 2005 and 2011 elections because George Weah did not win. Ellen whooped his ass. Let me say, I don't agree with my political leader when he said George Weah won. George Weah did not win. But man, come on, you know that. Maybe you said it for some other reason. But George Weah did not win no election. And he whooped the bugger. So you were wrong. I disagree with you. And yes, there you have it. I just publicly disagree with Benani Uri. Something which many of you think is a taboo. But for you to go and start attacking my political leader over his expression of his view that VPS is not consistent with our election laws or the way we do electioneering in our country is ridiculous and unacceptable. And you think I'm going to sit there and let you attack my party and my political leader because the ANC doesn't get what the ANC wants? I mean, you know, nobody will always get what they want. The ANC will never get what it always wants. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. I mean, come on. What you be attacking the man for? You got ANC, prominent ANC people on Facebook. What did Ure say today about Cummings? He did not call Mr. Cummings' name. All he said is that VPS is not the way. We will not circumvent our process, our tradition, our convention to allow a handful of foreign guys come to Liberia and conduct a survey. We will allow our people to go and vote. And this is what's provoking you all, that you run on Facebook, you start attacking Bernard Ure. Do you really want to go down that path? Do you seriously want to go down that path attacking my political leader? Do you want that? Is that what you seriously want, ANC? You know, it's difficult to work with these people. Every freaking time you try to be diplomatic, you try to be calm, you try to let it slide, and then they will go and start doing something stupid. Bernard Ure does not have to support what Cummings wants. He does not. And every time you do this nonsense, you push us further away. How the hell can I support an Alexander Cummings when every damn thing you say that does not praise Cummings or does not support a Cummings approved position, then the Cummings people get angry, then they go on Facebook, then they talk nonsense? Who told you all of us got to be praising Cummings? What kind of nonsense is this? Y'all ain't want to be in the damn collaboration, y'all can't just leave? Huh? What you be making people angry for? Why are you insulting Ure? Because Ure said we should go with the primary and the convention process? Is that why you're angry? Huh? Do you seriously want to fight war? ANC, do you want to fight war? Do you seriously want? Can you win? Can you really win a war with us? Do you want to go nasty? Do you really want to do that? What is wrong with you people? How the hell can we support you? Bernard Ure may not even run for president. You don't even know that? He has told you. Bernard Ure may not even run for president. Instead of trying to woo him and charm him in the hope that you might win his support, instead, every time we open our mouths, you attack us because we don't sing Cummings' praises. What kind of nonsense is that? Huh? What kind of nonsense is that? All Mr. Ure said today is simple. VPS is not the way we're going to go because it's not consistent with our election laws. And it is true. The National Elections Commission is the body that determines or that sets the guidelines for how conventions are conducted. That is how it's done. The NEC will not approve a process where you go and you go and you say a VPS. The Elections Commission will not accept it. I'm pretty sure Mr. Cummings does not know that. Elections Commission will not accept that. Election Commission will only accept a primary where delegates vote to determine who becomes the head. That is the only process the Elections Commission will accept. So what's wrong with Mr. Ure saying that? What is wrong with that? What is wrong with Bernard Ure simply saying we must do the convention? I'm telling you, my political leader more than likely will not run for president. But this is what you all do? By the time people talk, you get angry? Is this how we're going to work together? Is this how we're going to work together? We cannot express ourselves? Anytime we talk something, when in support coming, y'all get vexed? Seriously? That another detector you're trying to create? What nonsense is that? What the hell? Why can't we speak freely? You go on Facebook, you're attacking Mr. Ure, Tai Wongbe. Mr. Cummings jump up and say he's supporting Tai Wongbe. Tai Wongbe is his candidate in Nimba. I'm told they just did a survey of 7 candidates or 7 on the list. The survey in Nimba. Tai Wongbe came number 7 on the list. In Nimba, a survey. I'm trying to get a copy of that survey. Number 7. Of course, I'm not surprised. It does not surprise me. And these are the people on Facebook attacking Ure because Ure said we must stick with the process. We must stick with the process. Absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. You can say whatever you want to say, but this is just too much. We're not put up with this BS. We can't speak freely now. Huh? We can't speak freely. We can't say what we want or what we do not want. Is that a problem? We don't support a VPS. And if you don't like it, go to hell. Damn it. the dynamic COP, Mr. Mo Ali. So Mo Ali is here in the States, as many of you are aware. He's visiting. So I'm driving 45 minutes to go and see him in the Northeast in Philadelphia. So I just wanted to do a quick chat before I, about Mr. Uri's press conference.
There you
today.
have it there, folks. Alfonso Z and Sot of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. Today is Thursday. It's 10:02 Eastern Standard Time. This is All Things Considered. Decide major news happening during the course of the week and put it into perspective to create a genuine conversation. News just coming in, the global chairman of the Alternative National Congress, Mr. Wilfred Passaway, will be my special guest here on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wilfred Passaway. I can remember almost 3, 4, 5 years ago, I had the privilege to interview Mr. Passaway and Kwame Clement. Okay. Let's have a couple of, let's have a few things here this evening here. Caller, I'm going to be taking a call. Just give me a chance here a little bit. This is so ridiculous. It is so absurd. This group called itself CPP or whatever. Look, these people, they are not ready. See how this jointed and disorganized conference hosted by Benana Uri. And I'm kind of appalled because some of our colleagues, their inability to make a follow-up question is ridiculous. And they allow people to make statements and just walk away. He's been very disingenuous. Henry Costa's 24/7 attack and go personal with the president. And so what's wrong with ANC people too also expressing or going at Benana Uri? First of all, you are the chairpersons of this group that union. This marriage will not hold. They're dating for nothing. They're just wasting one another time. And from what I see that is unfolding right now, the very CDC we're frowning on, or they are frowning on as well, of some of our policy, I see these people to be a dangerous group if they are entrusted with state power. You are the chairman of a group. You are talking, you are putting framework together, and you're sitting before the media. Mr. James Gomianta, help me up here if you will. And you're sitting before the media. You have not had a discussion with your people. You have not discussed, come to a conclusion what your past position. These are some of the framework that should be put together first of all before you come. And now you're facing the media, you're telling them, you're not going to agree with the VPS. For those of you, the VPS is the voter perceptions I survey. That's to validate who is voting. Now, there are so many contradictions into what he's saying. Now, there are people that are supposed to come to go through this voter roll to have it clean. He doesn't want it. But Benana Uri is telling us he doesn't entrust the foreigner to come and do it. But he's telling us that other government or United Nations or whosoever the hell they're coming from, I don't know, but to come and to preside over the elections of the Republic of Liberia, a sovereign nation. You don't trust the people to go through the voter roll, but you want the people to go through the to preside over the election. What was he saying? Benana Uri cannot win elections in Liberia. His presence, all he's trying to do, all he's doing is to validate and to make his business to be protected. Because one of the things is, once you are within the opposition, whether you does it the wrong way, whether the government goes wrong or government go right against you, you will be seen as an opposition. Why these people, all of them, say why they can't even try to be representative of senator if they want to test their political will? Why they can't contest for senatorial seat representative? It is a consequential one. It is one of the prerequisites to this whole 2023. But because people are so bold in Liberia, you just sit down in your comfortable place and they call charade press conferences without any coherent message all over the place. I don't understand the head. The gas shortage is not their concern. Are you kidding me? You are an opposition, you want state power, and you're telling me that gas shortage, which is a national security issue in the country, it is not your concern? Then what the hell you want to be? What was the purpose of that press conference? You don't want people to abuse, but you have a member of your party, Henry Costa, 24/7 insults the president, abuses the president, goes personal, and say all sort of stuff. But you do not have the ability to stop. And at the end of that conference, somebody asking, you say, well, the people speaking their mind. Now, people who, when you try to form a union, they have a different version of what you are saying, perhaps because you as a chairman, you guys should even have an executive meeting to have that sorted out, and it can be a joint statement. And I agree, the selection of people is not good. They can go to primary. Let us see who is best fit, and let the Liberian people vet these people who wants to be. You cannot even agree on common thing among yourself. How many months today you can't come to a consensus, and you want to lead Liberia? Complete nonsense. You're telling people not to insult, but you have someone, if not an executive, a member, who all of you decide to put together because of his network, and that's why he's saying big mouth. You got big mouth, and it's true. But you guys are going under the bonnet of this guy to do whatever he wants to do, and none of you get the guts as opposition or leaders when he's doing the wrong to even say it. Like you said, you don't want to abuse, you don't want to insult, but you listen to it. You see that's being rained on other people. That's just being disingenuous. And Benana Yure, you know he can't win election in Liberia. I'm saying it. He cannot win elections in Liberia. All he's doing now is to protect his businesses. As long as he remains opposition, it validates his position that his business will be smooth, well. Because the mindset of our people, even if he goes wrong and the government decides to go after him, it will be seen national government is hunting the opposition. I'm not of there are a lot of policies this government is doing, but let us say like today, it was a huge day. It was a good day. The Roberts International Airport is very, very much essential to the economic growth of our country, and so if there's a groundbreaking ceremony, I anticipate that some of the opposition people that are in the both houses, they will have even gone there and show up. They cannot even come to a consensus as to how they're going to do it. You criticize, you talk and talk and talk, and there is no alternative. Now, the CDC or George Weah has strategically positioned the CDC or the government. They broke ground today. We are hearing that there will be a dedication to our July 20 in 3 years, July 26, 2023. 2023 is what? Is the election year. We are hearing road construction going on. And you as an opposition up to this point, you have not come to a consensus. You get the Henry Costa, the Muna Faha, and all of these people, they can't even have that persuasive and refined tone to communicate with everybody insulting. You're not even getting state power. You're not even. So if you're even take state power, hell gonna break loose in our country. You're not even start dividing ministerial position here, director position here, agencies of government here. The one that will want to go to LPR to drink the oil, they're there. The one that want to go to MPA, the one that want to go to RRA, they're there. You have not even get to that point, and you're behaving the way you're behaving. Is that how we're going to trust you people with state power? That's so ridiculous. So who is Benana Yure? He's a leader. His people can disagree with him. So is that how you guys going to operate? If you take state power, anybody who talk and say something, you are more detector. There are tons and millions of videos here that will play. It will go endless of some of your comments and saying against the government, the president. He is not doing everything perfect. But it seems you do not want it to be done to Benana Yure, but it must be done to other people. That's just not being fair. It's being disingenuous. And none of these opposition, the people who even call them, they don't even stand to speak against it, because if they did, then Henry Costa will come against them, or Henry Costa will even strike. See, if you listen to the other people, Professor Key or whatever, all of the things are happening. But I hope Liberians will be able to make good decisions. In as much as there are some bad policies or there are some bad things that this government is not addressing yourself to, but the opposition that is trying to see herself as alternative it's not effectively communicating with the Liberian people, it's not telling us how they're going to do it, then that's scary. Now, with all of these that are going on, will they still form this union? I'm waiting to see what Chairman Passaway is going to be telling me. I just got a message here that we're going to be having him right here this Sunday, and hopefully we're going to discuss it in lengthily. Let's see some of the things that Benana Yuri is saying. According to our front page, Benana Yuri will not be part of anything other than going to a primary to elect our standard bearer. We will not give the right to a foreigner group to do a survey. First of all, what Costa was talking about, he said he may not run. That's probability. Nothing is definitive. Nothing is in black and white when it comes to politicians. So what can we believe? He's unsure. He said he may not. Does that mean he's not going to run? Okay, let me pick this call here. I think this person been calling here for the little time I have here. Hello, caller, are you there? Hello, caller, are you there? Hold on 1 second. Yeah. Are you hearing me? Okay. How are you?
Yeah. How you doing, sir?
Good. Let me see here. I hope, folks, for those of you listening, if the caller audio is perfect, just let me know. Okay. Who is this? Is that Terry?
Yeah, Terry.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You listened to Benana Yuri press conference?
Yeah, I listened to him. I listened to Benana Yuri the other day, and have my own disagreement with the statements that he made, and I also listened to Henry.
Okay.
As you were playing,
yeah. So, for God's sake, what the heck is going on? Yeah, caller, I'll be coming to you. Just have somebody here. What the heck is going on in our country? Yeah, this is ridiculous. Well, Benana, if you listen to the entirety of that whole press conference, he just here grabbing things from here and there. He cannot even in a certain time George Weah win election. He cannot blame George Weah. So they are validating what the CDCians have been saying. This thing here is Helen Johnson's salute. Now he's the opposition. He's saying that, but then Costa is coming by and say, well, I don't agree with him. Let me bring, let me put this guy here. Okay, go ahead, and we want to welcome our analyst, Mr. George. Mr. George, hold on 1 second, but let me go to my man, Terry. Terry, make me to understand here. It seems to be I'm heading ahead of my shadow here.
Yeah, Mr. So what is happening is that they're showing some level of inconsistency. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, so I see it's a level of inconsistency in Mr. Yuri's statement from the opposition bloc. He's saying that he's not fully putting the weight on George Weah, but instead Ellen Johnson said, which point you just stressed. But what took my concern was the statement he made in regards to Alexander Cummings. When he said that Alexander Cummings, comparing Alexander Cummings to Joseph Porter, as a political leader, it was wrong for you to make such a judgment.
What was he trying to illustrate? What was he trying to say, actually? Do you know, you have an idea what he was saying?
Yeah, you were trying to say that, there was a question that came up concerning, who is going to lead the CPP and all of that, and which was the preferable candidate. And, he referred to Joe Bucker. He gave the way he put it when they generally asked him in time past, not the interview he just had, they generally were showing reflection on time past. So, he was trying to say that he said it openly that, Joe Bucker was better than was better than Cummings because Joe Bucker had more education. That was a statement he made in our interview, that Joe Bucker had more education than Cummings. Cummings only had, he was only a Coca-Cola stock. In the way he put it, it's derating. It's derating to Cummings too. So I believe this is the reason why Cummings then are afraid. So they're asking for the VPS. I know VPS.
Yeah, the voter type perception type survey. Yeah.
Yeah, because of fear, because of the way he positioned, the way he said it, because he's a political leader. Whatsoever you say, you got people following you. Whatsoever whatever you say become a policy. People monitoring what you say.
Yeah, okay,
You know?
quickly. Yeah, quickly here, before I go to the next people you're not going to go. Do you think strategically as head of CPP, all right. Why, according to him, they are still in the process of mending the framework. That is whatever agreement they're going to come. Because let us fair to mention, there are four political institutions coming together. They have their own political ideology, so they must sit on the roof before they can come out. And I believe these are some of the things that should have been sorted out before even facing the media. He didn't do it. He said they finished it. So is he telling us now that the decisions of the four collaborative party he coming out and tell he's not going to accept? That's not undercutting the process of putting even the framework as he is talking about together?
Yeah, that's what we're saying, Mr. So it will make it difficult for the political, the
So
CC,
people,
the
they're
CPP
wasting
to
our
hold.
they're wasting our time.
They're wasting our time because they're not together and they are not ready. Because he, the Benena Yure, the way he started the whole thing, the statements that he made,
He
was too
overstays.
fast.
His time has even expired, and there's no reason when they ask him. If you go follow that into that interview, they ask him that there is nothing tangible that they explain. There are things still remain unresolved, and then you come to the media and you're telling the people, say, "Oh, I will not accept this." You are a chairperson, for God's sake. Is that how you're going to lead?
He was wrong. I think that actually the guy trying to look for favor from government because you know the belly goes sweating, but you don't know that the belly goes sweating. You know, Joria is a man. He don't want to go. So apparently he's squeezing the balls. He's squeezing the businesses. So as a result, the input that he's supposed to have, he's not getting it. So as a result, you have to choose on their own job. We have to create some opportunity.
Okay.
For me, look at that whole interview.
Okay, hold on one second.
Because,
That's it. Like when you stay, you say, you know what? A lot of people been facing the media. Let me call people to I can sit down somewhere and relax, and people are going to focus their attention on me. That's the sort of publicity stunt that is ongoing, man. Let me go to this number here, 612-9634, and I'll come to our analyst, Mr. Joy. 612, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Mm.
Yeah, so what I've seen in this whole thing, so I might sound like a broken record, but you know this guy called Costa. Costa is he is a problem for Liberia. I must be honest. So Costa made a video 2 days prior to today's
conference, banana.
Yes. So, and everything the banana Euro was saying just came from Costa Playbook. Everything about that VPS. Costa talked about those things 2 days before this conference. And he even said it. He said, "Oh, banana Euro will be having this conference," and that's the reason why when he said, "Look, I did not listen to everything of the
he knew the context.
He
Why
did not need to listen
yeah.
to it because he was reading from your. He is reading from your talking points. So there's no need for him for you to listen to. In fact, I doubt it that he even listened to it. That is not true. He did not listen to it, and Yuri has a way of talking like how, like in Liberia would say, you are talking like a girl. He does not. He does not address the person. He uses proverbs when he wants to refer to Cummings, and I find that so funny. Even the Cummings people themselves, when they want to address Costa, they will go all around the bush. Peter, I like. You guys
Costa is their darling boy. He's untouchable because, like he said, he got a big mouth. So anybody gonna go after him, he gonna go aggressively, and you have people there to say, okay, yeah, you were telling people that he doesn't, he not good to insult, but he does not have the guts to, and that's why they are missing here, because he get a very good and decent platform, thousand of people, but their inability to use that effectively to twist to change the game is unable.
He is using his platform for the wrong reason. Look, you already know he's not going to win election in that country. These guys, the only thing these guys are there to do is to hijack the system to a point that they can negotiate and get money from out of it. This thing is business for these guys.
This is
business. Even down to his tenure, that was over. This man cannot say anything. And in fact, according to the election laws for the guys to to mergers. In fact, that group is not even in existence because for that group to be in existence, they must have the memorandum of understanding that they have to
They can't
find.
even put it together. But hold on one
They can't even
second.
put.
Let me let me bring in Pat George here. But this is where the entire bizarre and the contradiction. He does not want the VPS, which has to do with the voter protections survey, because there are other people going to be breaking it. But see how he twisting the boy again. He wants foreigner, the same foreigner he does not he doesn't need to fix that. But at the same foreigner now he wants to preside over the senatorial and the presidential election. What the heck is going on? If he was president, will he allow foreign people just come Guinea, Ghana, Nigeria, or even just come where you have a sitting president? If you don't agree with him, can't you people sit as a political institution and put measures in place to make sure that the process, where you see in the world, say election free and fair? Like America here, there was a recount. At the end of the day, it is where it is. Why you can't do your due diligence? The time you take to spray your wing or in the chair there, you should be going to Maryland, Sando, Grand Gida, Riverside, and all of those people and start telling the people what you can do differently than this CDC government is not doing. They're all sitting down, they're waiting on the eve of October to start their campaign. Mr. Joy, let me bring in Emma George here, who is the analyst here of the Liberia Public Radio. Pa George, good evening.
Yes, Mr. Sue, how you doing?
Good. Look, I don't know, maybe I'm heading ahead of my shadow here, but see what is happening.
You know, Mr. Sue, the whole Benin press conference, and Mr. Kosa, I don't even want to talk about it now. Because, you see, this is what people do in Liberia. What Benin put out there was to portray that foreigners are coming in now, that it is not coming, they want to bring foreigners in to take over the electoral process. The voter survey something is not anything that has to do with the convention. This is just a survey to get the popular view of the people. If you say you want participation to get the people personal view, then from there you can say, okay, look at the people view, and this is the direction we can go. That's all this thing about. But Benin and Kosa had thrown it out there to say that these people bring it in to use it, then that will replace the convention, which is lie. Which is lie. It's a black lie. But because our people don't understand, they put it out there and say, oh yeah, the people want to bring foreign in, they don't want to no convention again, they just want to use that survey to elect a senator, which is a lie. And Costa himself know it.
How even can Costa tell us when he say he made not? They made the war made its probability. It doesn't tell. Benana Euro was never definitive in his book. But you know, I tell you, I've been sitting now, you know, and talking like that's complete nonsense. It's all about seeking public attention.
Yeah, and Mr. So let me tell you, this thing boiled down to jealousy. Benana Euro know within himself that he cannot be president now. He know it.
He knows that.
He know it. So now, this is jealousy and envy against Alexander Cummings. Now, since after the election, Benin had not left Monrovia to trial. Cummings, I think, had toured Liberia twice. Had gone to the rural area. Right after the election, Cummings took a tour of the entire country telling the people, thank you. And I think this year he started again. Benin had not left Monserrato. But look, here's the issue, Mr. So. What it boils down to is that if Benin knows that he will not become president, what he wanted to, because the first thing he undermined the whole thing, the last one, what he came out to say, as chairman of the city, what he came out, he said, if anything, he will support Bouaka.
Exactly. That's the same Bouaka now he has demonized again. This is why I say I'm not friendly with these politicians. They are like a chameleon. You know, then in an instance, within a twinkle of an eye, they change his color.
Mm-hmm. So Benin now, knowing that now, look, if this thing can, I will not make it. So he want to stir up confusion. This is what they say doing. Because as chairman, even if they just ask you who you think, you can say, look, you know what happened? I will not answer the question, but at the appropriate time, we'll respond to that and more. But he went back to the same thing to repeat the same thing he said, talking about qualification. Alexander Cummings holds a master's degree. I think Omen Bouaka, I don't know, maybe he has a master's degree. Alexander Cummings has been executive.
It's a boycott experience.
Yeah. Alexander Cummings has ran other companies. He may not have governmental experience, but he has run. So, but that's not a point for you to, that is not a point for you to make. If they just argue, say, you know what happened? Who the Liberian people decide at the time, we will all support that person. We are all qualified people. that's how you do
But
it. That,
don't
you are
you?
done with that.
But Mr. George, yeah, is the thing. He is the chairperson of the group. And even besides being the chairperson, he's a principal player. You're telling us there are sticky issues. You're putting the framework together. It means the deal is yet to be sealed. You're still discussing to agree and disagree and iron everything and make it into one to have it presented to the Liberian people. But he has undercut the purpose of the framework he claimed that they are putting together. He comes out now. Boykai and the Unity Party people, they're still sleeping because some of them there. I've not heard an official statement from the ANC, but like what I was on air, I got a message. The chairman of the global ANC, Mr. Wilfred Passaway, will be my guest here. But looking at all of this that is unfolding here, Mr. George, do you see this sort of a marriage or dating here going on for before this election? Do you think so? Is there where they can fix this thing here?
It will go on. And you know, let me tell you, what happened? Jacob Koba spoke today. The last time, didn't I tell you, I said Jacob Koba not going anywhere? Jacob Koba spoke today. He said that if the CCP want to break away, they can go. But he will not leave the ANC. He will move forward with the ANC. And let me ask these people, let me ask Mr. Costa. He and Jacob Koba, he has a microphone. But you think he and Jacob Koba, who is more popular? Costa and Jacob Koba today. Who do you think the Liberian people can look at?
Yaka makes this, they go on January 6th. Yaka is the one that stood the ground. He sacrificed him. He was a sacrificial lamb for that protest.
Yes. And Yaka said it today in Africa. He said, what happened to the last election in Kitmore? He said that will not happen again. He said, I had to leave from here to go to Bombay to spend 4 nights there because of the same CCP decision that they must provide this candidate. And he said tonight, he said he would not, that would not happen again. So he said if they want to break away, they can go. But he going with the ANC. So now the question is, with Mr. Henry Costa now, who has the biggest microphone in Liberia, will he challenge Yege Kolba now? Will he go after Yege Kolba?
We're waiting to see. Steve can call Steve now.
I'm seeing it because Yege Kolba is drawing the sand. He had drawn a line in the sand. He had drawn the line in the sand already now. But you see, Mr. So this is what I'm saying. I said, look, Mr. Costa has a problem, has a temperament. You have a platform. You're leading Liberians.
They're not using it wisely. The opposition, that they're talking for a purpose to channel their message, but all of them afraid. Nobody can talk to him. Nobody take issue with him. When he's even doing it wrong, they all sit there because nobody, they are afraid he's going to go back at them.
Well, but somehow maybe he don't know some personal, so maybe that's why he don't come out. But I have always said that I have problem with Henry Costa. My problem is he's arrogant. He has a temperament problem, and this is the problem that will give him trouble. Until Henry Costa decide to become someone who is disciplined in his thought and how he does things.
No, they're not president yet. Benana Yuri is not president. Muna Yahad and Muna Faha or whoever, they just saying whether that he's not relevant. So when he becomes president tomorrow and somebody start cussing up as well, and they are instant security, then they will be almost like the same way Jefferson, Koji, and all of those people behaving. That will be the same thing because it means people will not talk to their political leader or people will not talk to somebody they consider as a father. What is that?
And this is why I'm calling on the opposition, especially the broader group are not that too much. The union, the other group are not. Is this ANC rivalry with the Benin, those two groups? And I said this, I think the ANC now must be mature. They should not have all the people on social media writing all these things about it because anything these people write, it reflects on the party. What are the leadership?
Exactly.
It has to be.
You are right.
So what? I think the ANC must put herself in the position and tell all her supporters in the diaspora, look, you know what? Don't write anything and say, once you identify with us as a party,
these people,
do not write.
the very same thing we frown on CDC, the very same things they frown on CDC, that's exactly what they are doing. Muna Faha, you are the chairperson of the USA branch. Any statement thrown out there, whether it be a tweet or comment, it does reflect on the institution because you are president. It will be seen as the view of the executive. So, I mean, to the extent that they are not even persuasive, you don't see then 99% all of them having packets when you go to the CDC people, you go to the opposition side, all of their people. You take 99% talking point to be the things that Joy, we are a CDC government not doing. He wearing $12,000 shoe. He been there. Look, I need resurrection. I need somebody to restore my hope. If you come to me and tell me that you are graduates and it's like giving somebody morphine to say, okay, die slowly. What I want to be hearing is how do you going to execute some of the plans that you have to start telling me. But they don't even do it. They don't even have a strategy as well. They're behaving like the same very CDC that they are frowning
They're not selling they are not selling the institution. They are not selling the institution. But now, whether the ANC or LAP or whatever, they should be putting policy of the proposal, what they think they will do for the country to move the country forward. And I just want to tell them, look, once you identify our institution, you put in a tweet out there, it will reflect on that institution. Do not use it term well or Eugene Fagan Kimba. I'm speaking in my private capacity. No.
Yeah, you minister and you say, hey, all of them the same. All of them.
Once you identify with this institution, you have to be careful with the utterances because anything you say, people are going to link it to the institution. It's politics.
So the last few minutes yet, the president did a groundbreaking ceremony today. I see that as very historic, very strategic. The time and the proposed dedications of that role is 2023 when you have election just few months away. That's going to factor in.
That will factor in. Let me say that.
Okay, come in. Before something that I saw something very unusual, and I think that we must also speak to it, not just only to poke finger in the eyes of the government when it does it wrong, but you could see that sort of a friendly move. I hope it stays like that because I said this before here that I would love to see the president and the sitting vice president in good rapport. And that was clearly shown today. They were chatting the how it's supposed to be. You could see them hanging here. They was talking. So it seems to be there are many these broken glasses. CDC perhaps they have realized that there's no way that you can throw Joy Howard Taylor out because when you throw her out, Bon County, Mount Gibby, Lofa, they're going to be in trouble. And you will need her. She's still viable. Don't you see that today, I think is a good beginning. We don't know how long it's going to last. We don't know what's going to pop out again. Some kind of person will go on air and make some stupid comment about the vice president, which they don't take no decision. And then UG Fagon comes out that they are not aware, nobody lay complaint, all of that. But overall, I think that was that was a good day today in Liberia. The groundbreaking ceremony of the Roberts International Airport Highway. It's essential. It's gateway to the country economies.
Yeah, it is very important that I always say I welcome the news with caution. And my concern is always cost. And the labor will be, I want the labor is the one who should address the issue though, because that's his area of expertise. So, because the price tags, they put it on that road, that's a huge money that's about 44 kilometers, that's about 27.34 mile road. So I will want the labor, Mr. Toll.
Something.
Yes.
Or the labor progressive.
The labor progressive. We can ask him all the engineering so he can break this thing down because that money, that's a huge money. Because Mr. Toll, my warrior is, I heard the minister
But
speaking.
I think the minister, I sent a message. We hope to have here, and I hope, I think he's going to accept our information together. No, I think he appear on this network. I don't want to rule that out here, but if he doesn't, then well, it's up to him. But I mean, it's giving them the opportunity to also explain the agenda in depth. But I think they went a little bit extensive in terms, it was broken down into 3 categories as to how it's going to be executed. So are you saying the cost is huge? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm not. That's why I said we'll try to get Mr. Samson to break
Samson
down.
Toll needs to go on the ground there and see for himself instead of sitting down in Sacramento and be doing I don't want to hear that. He needs to go down there and see physically vis-a-vis and see how the land, the wave, and all of those stuff. He needs to go there.
But
and
he
then
said, let me tell you so. He said he called one of his buddy. He called one of his buddy, and his buddy said, hey, they even talk to us. So because the minister was giving all these figures, you know, the fund that the international fund they are higher,
Yeah.
and I want to know what was the date, what was the process that they hire all the international firms to come and do the good work.
Well, yeah, who's supposed to be critiquing and making some good suggestions concern? Bernard Euro say he didn't care when gasoline is short, but all he want be president, or you are opposition and you are not concerned of national security issue. But hold on 1 second, let me go to this number here, 646 number 0793. Caller, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. So. How you doing?
Good. Is that Evangelist Santos?
Yeah. Been a
Okay.
while.
Yeah. How are you, my dear brother?
I'm doing good.
Okay.
Thank you for the program. Thank you ever so much. God blessings.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on. Okay, so this is why it's unfolding. What you make of the groundbreaking ceremony, the banana Yuri, and all of that?
First of all, with the groundbreaking, I think that's a very good initiative. You know, it's just that the government they are sliding down on some basic things that they need to do.
Right.
The rule, the rule of law and some basic things. But other than that, if Liberia will be developed, it takes people with the big heart. Okay, that's a big project. That's a project that past presidents have anticipated, but they have not been able to grab the bull by the horn. If the government will really do that project according to the way they explain it, I think that would be a big political score for the WLA administration. Okay, so we all are happy for the project. We all hope to see that project done within the 3 years. I heard Mambutu Yimpan, the Minister for Public Works, saying 2023, July 26th. Okay, the project will be dedicated. I hope they are praying, they are serious about it, because if they should do that, it will really bring another good facelift to the country. Come to talk about the
They did a
opposition.
strategic position, though. You know, July 26, 2023, you get July,
Yeah,
August,
yeah,
September,
yeah.
October election. So that's going to be
Yeah.
fresh in the minds of the people. And let's see
Very
what are
fresh.
some of those things, the other roles they are talking about. That would be a problem for the opposition. And yeah, we are. They are fighting over VPS and it's ridiculous. Are you kidding me?
You know, the thing about it, I love to be sincere to people. We do not have any good opposition in that country. The only person that we try to listen to that when we follow his record is somebody that is very, very strong in his decision. He's being there, he's being kind of truthful. Is Dara Dillon. I'm not a fan of the Liberty Party, but I think Dara Dillon, he's somebody that tried to be of man of the word. But all those people, the Bena Ure, the other people that just jump me around the place, those people, they cannot be trusted.
Wow.
Those people, they cannot be trusted.
I give
Believe
up.
me. I would prefer the clergy. Sometimes I don't put my trust in politicians. Sometimes
No,
I ask,
I had apprehensions about these coalitions because I couldn't see this unified group.
Do we have an Esther? Do we have people that are in the religious setting that will be able to speak truth to power without the thought of them being bought or being compromised? Because I don't think about politicians though. Because the thing about a politician, their interests. Okay? Their interests are always first.
Okay.
Politician, everything that they do is their interest.
All right. Okay, let me. Yeah.
So Ben I listen to him. I mean, I just lost my appetite now. I don't know. We don't trust. Yeah, the last time we were monitoring him, it just killed me and killed my spirit. And so you can't even depend on the people to get the government feet on fire. Yeah, and that's the sole intent of the opposition, to push the government to do something better, to do what they said they want to do. You have to push them to live up to their promises.
Their campaign
Your
promises. But when
opposition,
you get a weak
and they're talking
opposition
about
of
gas shortage, and you say you're not concerned. Are you kidding
you're not
me?
concerned.
It's not you're not concerned. So you're not concerned of national security issue. We should entrust you with with the security of the state. So you're telling us tomorrow when there's no rest, Frenchman says I'm a fool, right? Let me hold on 1 second. Let me go to this number here. I will soon be wrapping up here. So it's 10:41 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me go to this 215 number, and I will be coming to you guys to make your final comments before I take off. All right, 215-839 says, "Are you there, caller? Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?"
Good evening, Brother Shaw. This is Moses, your brother.
Hey.
How you doing?
Brother Mo, how are you?
I'm doing just fine, thank you.
Okay. Look, I am sick in the stomach. The opposition. So what's the point? What are they whining for?
Why?
When they can't even put a framework together, when they can't even when they can't come to a conclusion, when if somebody gave other side of the version, then another person come to what? Lambast them, but yet them still they say they now want to insult other people, but they're not president yet. So when other people tomorrow, when he become president, when the seditions, as they call them, Tani one, when they start insulting him, and he is the city mayor too, or Costa is the police maybe public affairs director or whatever it is, it's gonna be hell on earth.
My brother, to you and the few folks that are contributing to this conversation.
I don't know.
I just want to let you know that with the situation in Liberia, I'm not sure why our expectations are high. Number one is that we had the conversation before. And you keep using the word institutions. We do not have political institutions. We have individuals that are egotistic, and their ego takes over the destiny of their country. And it's mean against you, and it's not an institution or a foundation with a foundation of bringing like minds together to build something that creates a sense of synergy. There is no sense of synergy. So if people are not taught how you reach synergistic ideas, they cannot exercise it. So when you talk about people coming in and what Mr. Lewis said today about foreigners coming in, listen, when people come in, and we see it all over the world where people take surveys to determine.
But I don't get it, Brother Mose. I don't get it. But then, not to call you off, he said he didn't want foreigner coming. So the other people that he wants to come in the country to take over the election, who are they?
Well, the thing about it.
So where are they coming from? He wants people to come to take over the election, the senatorial, and the presidential.
No, but
I don't know why our guys don't make a follow-up question. That sometimes is so annoying when they allow these people to make some ridiculous comments and they don't want to hold them to their feet.
The fact of the matter is that bringing people in, you want to make it as objective as open. When you go out and do a survey and try to do some of those things to get people's minds together, because you can't do it among yourself, because everyone is compromised.
I don't know.
Everyone is compromised in that country. So, those are things. So for me, I don't expect anything until people start to be educated and start to exercise some of the knowledge of just trying to do some analytical thinking and looking at the bigger picture. The end of the road and the light at the end of the tunnel is what people should be aiming for, not for instant gratification. Everyone there is compromised, and everybody wants to have chips on their shoulder. And I would not give anything for you to take over. And that's the sentiment that I think that is shared all around with those so-called politicians. The other thing is that when you talk about the breach, I just sent you the article that was the article on
March 25th, 2013. Yeah.
And that was when this groundbreaking that's going on today, that when it happened. That contract was already there with the Japanese people.
But it was not executed. Let's be fair to say, it was not executed. So what did Helen Johnson sell it?
It wasn't executed, but it was pending execution. So for people to think that the we administration negotiated to make sure, because
Brother Mose, let's see here. Maybe I'm going to have an extreme view here this evening, and I don't think we're going to end here. Okay, it was pending execution. That was 2020. That was what 2013. Where are we today? 20 what? 20.
2020.
How
Yeah,
many?
my brother.
How many years?
Well, the fact of the matter is that when you having these things, that when you come up with concessions like these, especially this multi-billion-dollar, million-dollar contract, there has to be a lot of studies. Like we say now, that these contracts, people don't know how they vetted the contractors and what have you. Understandably, when you're talking about these kind of construction, you don't want to just take it and give it to somebody because the contract was signed yesterday. There has to be steps that you have to go through, especially so with the donors that are coming in and giving you money to do that. This thing is not coming from Liberian revenue.
No.
You see, it's not coming from Liberian revenue. So whoever is giving the money to have these construction go on need to make sure that the T's are crossed, the I are dotted before any money can be
Who gets,
dispersed.
so the bottom line here, who gets the credit is 7 years. Okay, Moses, William Ara Talbot, the late President Talbot started the sport complex. There was no groundbreaking. That was the continuations of government's functions of government activities. What happened? Samuel Kayando came and I went ahead, pushed it and executed it. Subsequently, the stadium was built. It becomes Samuel Kayando Sports Complex today. So can we give George Weah, I know he's the elephant in the room, there are some bad policies, but can we give George Weah the credit this one year by breaking the ground today?
No, we can give him credit, but strategically, because you was talking about the timing of the completion of this construction. What about election?
Yeah, no, the timing I'm talking about, I'm making reference how it's been strategically positioned because it's going to be a heavily contested election. That's what I'm saying. So it's and this opposition, they are not even looking at that. They're fighting over VPS and all of those kind of stuff here.
Brother, when we talk about opposition, I don't know if we have genuine opposition.
But people you're getting now, so I know until I can bring different people, so we see them.
Just what George was just saying. When you talk about the split of the coalition of CCP with Yaka Kuluba and Casta now, you see, when individual ego takes over, when you go in with your own ego, that's what happens. On that team with the raid, and that's what we find.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, Brother Mo, are you there? I wonder if your phone went off. Are you guys hearing me?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah. Okay, I think a little mostly caught up. Okay, let me go to Tiaret. Let me give you guys one minute each. Per George, you will be the last person, then wrap it up. I think Moses he caught off and he's calling back.
You wanna go?
No, he caught up. Moses, are you there? Moses, are you there? I don't know what happened. His phone, there's something. Okay, Terry, let me go to you. What's your closing remarks? Terry, are you there? Okay, Evangelist Titus, are you there?
I'm here, 9634. I'm here.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so
oh, okay, I thought Terry. Yeah, 9634. Go ahead. I'm calling you Terry.
Yes,
Sorry.
So one thing that I was looking at with regards to this whole CPP, from what I read from the 1986 election laws, technically the allowed to operate in the country, because what the law states is that before such merger can be formed, it has to be formed, and then they have to send it to NEC, and NEC will have to approve them and give them a certificate of incorporation for them to operate on. So even from what I've just read, even that election that they took part in Cape Town, if they had won that election on that that CPP banner, you got to challenge it in court. And the law says that this that the merger or the coalition should be for no longer than 8 weeks prior to the things or not. And it's not those operate. I mean, from what I know now, they are operating illegally in that country, according to the 1986.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, my dear brother. I'm
Thank you.
already okay. Okay. Let me. Okay. Go ahead. 0793. Are you there?
Yes, yes, I'm there, Mr. Sir.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead with your last comment. I go to Pat George.
Okay, so there, I just want to pray that the spirit that we saw existing between the president and the vice president, we pray that it continue. That's a good thing. That's what we're hoping for. We want unity in the country. And if the president cannot be the chief unifier, he and the vice president, they cannot communicate, they cannot have that harmonious working relationship between them. Definitely, the government is going to fail because you can't be the father in the house and telling people to be united, and while you and your wife, you guys are just fighting, causing trouble all over the place. So we would be, happy to see um that continue. And lastly, the issue of this Zona Miller stuff, we already want the there's autopsy to be done, independent autopsy to be done, so that we can get it to the bottom of those kind of a thing. It's bad that journalists in our country will not have the protection that is needed. Zuno was a very bright guy. We all admire him from OKFM. I follow his show, the afternoon conversation, continuously. You know, to just hear mysteriously, I mean, it really, really sat in my heart. It spoiled my whole day when I heard that, and I felt so, so bad. So the government, regardless of whatever, we need to get to the bottom of this. Whoever that is culpable, they need to be dealt with according to the law, because that was very, very bad. Thank you, Mr. So. God bless you. We remain connected to Labrador Popular Radio. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to air our view.
Thank
God
you so
bless
much. Yeah, talking about Zonant privilege, maybe you came on late in the first segment. I was able to have Professor Joe at Wallet Liberian Yount led it to was providing some of our expertise based on the information that we have, and it was quite fascinating. We're able to get a lot, and from our understanding, pathologists and not anybody that's just going to do it. You have to have a special, satisfied person. So we hope, let the government say, they're gonna take the lead. They can do it. We have something planned for the presidential press secretary as well. Hopefully, we will get to that. We'll get that done.
Are we making any contribution to that too?
Say it again.
Are we making any contribution?
Where?
Concerning the death of President, are we doing any contribution for that?
Who's
death
for Miller?
Yeah, yeah.
No, usually we've been trying to get to the family. We don't just throw things out there. I don't think we don't see it really fit. We have not talked to the wife. We've been trying to talk, but people are still having their own privacy. I don't think that's not something we are not thinking in that direction, unless otherwise it's really under humanitarian. Like the instance he was sick, which we knew ahead of time that maybe he needed medical intervention. That would have been the ideal, and that's where my disappointment. That's where my disappointment came from with the Press Union of Liberia and all of the advocacy group. They should have done everything possibly they can to save this brother's soul by giving help. But everybody sat there, nobody did anything, and here we are now. We are talking and talking and talking. It just doesn't make sense. But anyway, it is what it is. We need to learn to avoid crisis than to manage crisis. Okay, Pa George, let me just bring you in here quickly.
Yeah. So, Mr. So, my final word to the opposition people: if at all they want to hold together, let the advice, I don't know what it is, surrogates or what, let they sit back and let the leader speak on their behalf. Because when all people speaking, they tend to drive those independent or even some of the citizens who wants to go to them. You will drive these people away from you with this kind of rhetoric on social media, on radio, on TV. Let these people bring people and say, look, You're not supposed to say anything like this. You're not supposed to be, your utterance is not supposed to be like this. Because anything you utter, it has the potential to undermine these different organizations that we trying to build. And as I said, Mr. Ure statement, it was not in the interest of the opposition, even the Liberian people. Because if you say gas is not an important issue, then
I couldn't believe what I heard.
Then you just behave like what the CCP was doing. Because the CCP
And
was
he-
not concerned
and
with
he-
gas in Liberia. They were not concerned.
Exactly.
CDC was not concerned.
And the worst of
It was
all, he validated the same talking point of CDC. Hey, this problem here, it's not an overnight problem. It's Helen Johnson creation, and that's what he admitted to. So why all these long they were talking this thing here and the time do this? So he validated CDC argument today to say, okay, I agree with it. After all, we can't blame President Weah. But the West to say the gas thing is not a concern, that's it's terrible.
And Mr. So, that's why I say Mr. Benina Yoshi go. That was a dismal press conference he had. Let him go back and replay the tape and see. The idea for you, Benina Yoshi, to say the issue of gasoline was Ellen problem. I mean, that's just disingenuous. George, we have been president. We have been almost 3 years, going to 3 years. And if you say that today, because I don't want even to do on that issue because I saw a portion of the report. Yeah, I saw a portion of the report that the House Committee was given today. I mean, it's terrible from that report. Because I don't want to say anything that I can review the whole thing. But for Benina Ure to start shipping beyond Ellen for gasoline business, that's shame on Benina Ure. Shame on him. You should not say that. I mean,
Well,
that's just shame on Benina Ure.
I don't even know, to be honest. I don't see the takeaway I got. I don't see the coherent message in that as an opposition in consequential time when you face the media. You must be able to put forward strategic and robust plans. Even if you're critiquing the government, if you want to critique the government, critique and say, hey, if I were in position, this is X, Y, Z. But to come back and be stepping all behind a less, that was so ridiculous. Okay, Pa George, thank you so much for coming on, guys. We're going to be here. I will be hosting the ANC Global Chairperson, Mr. Wilfred, passed away here on this network, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this Sunday. And we will be getting the official take on this program. Until then, I'm Afonso Zian of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. We want to thank you so much, and I think it was a good day today. I am happy to see what has happened, the groundbreaking, and we hope to go in depth. But the idea there was some sort of physical exhibition exhibited Roberts International Airport Highway there, the lives. And beyond that, it's the gateway to the country economy. It creates impression because 99% of the investors are people who potentially wants to invest in Liberia. They go through Roberts International Airport. And when you get down from other country airports and head into the city center, it gives you the courage that you can do a good business. So if government has the pledge to do timeline and everything, the groundbreaking tomorrow, if that is executed, and I think Liberia is on the path, we must give the president kudos on that, even though he have not started, but a great attempt is being made. We must give it to him as it is. And Benana Ure, if I were to give people some sort of grade point, I think Benana Ure got F. He's the worst political person for the course of the week. For the week, his press comment, his press statement, his comments, and some of the things that come in. He was disingenuous. He don't insult, but Costa did insult, and he's a member of his party, and he has not done anything. And people just disagree with him, and he's coming back now to fire at those people to names calling and all of that, insulting. So it means the same very thing CDC are doing, they are doing it. So maybe we need to go to somewhere, Afghanistan, or bring people now to take over Liberia. And I don't think that's what we want to do. Until the opposition can keep focus on the things to reassure Liberians that they can do it differently than what CDC is doing, we need to see their tangibles. We need to see something concrete. We don't want something extra. They need to do that. Unfortunately, I'm not sure whether these unions of this coalition, as they claim it to be, will form, because the bad blood now is breeding badly. And it was quite fascinating today. The president and the vice president, they was all, smiling. That's a very good thing. I hope that's a good indicator, and I hope nobody would come and make another stupid comment from the side of the government and begin to demonize the vice president, because she still remains a good asset to the government. If they don't know that, if they kick her up, you are putting yourself into danger with Bond County, with Lofa County, Mount Gibby, and other places. I don't think that's what you want to do. Now the opposition, and they are creating gap within the assistant. This infight with ANC and a certain group of Banana Europe Party is been breeding for a long time. We're going to see how it plays out here. And I want to welcome one of my mentors inside Liberia. My son, you're not sleeping tonight, I hope you are to that grand breaking ceremony. I'm talking about Big Brother Ty Gay, Clansman Ty Solo. Good morning from the nation's capital of Monrovia. Well, that does it this evening. I'm Alfonso Z and Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. I will be hosting Mr. Wilfred Passaway, is the chairperson of the Alternative National Congress, ANC. Will ANC still go into this collaboration? Those are questions and many more we will delve into this Sunday. Have a pleasant evening. Listen to these folks here that will find time to have them here. This whole sour business now, take over the whole place. But we will leave it there until we have here for another time. Have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye.
Yeah! Evangelist Morris Nakama King, the fourth time. Yeah, Rado Kubabo, King Dewewe, Rado Kubabo, Messiah, Dewewe, Rado Kubabo, Kubada Kwebo, Rado Kubabo, Dewewe, Rado Kubabo, Get one, Rado. Dia kwa isebo wala safuta yako kuaka yako kosora mo ya Montala ka dia kwa isebo wala safuta yako kuaka yako kosora